This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Fire-ups at a scrap metal site. The blaze comes close to the former city dump. Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister Michael Pintar calls for more sensitivity in deciding MPs' fates. And the Chief Justice urges caution in criticizing judges. Plus, in our discussion today, we are talking about that. Just how far can you go in critiquing judges or magistrates' decision? It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Don Sargent will be joining us. Also this morning in Morning Blend Business, the countdown is on to the end of the penny redemption program. Just a couple of weeks left. What you need to know if you still have a lot of pennies on your hand. It's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, a massive fire erupting at a scrap metal facility near the New Providence Ecology Park, formerly the city dump. This was off Tawny Williams-Darling Highway just before 8 o'clock last night. Assistant Superintendent of Police Audley Peters telling reporters at the scene last night that the fire was still spreading and that the cause of the blaze was unknown. Smoke from that site can be seen this morning. Peters noted that there were old vehicles where the fire ignited. Around 10:30 p.m. last night, Peters told reporters that an assessment of the compound was done and that the realization that the fire equipment was unable to reach the fire due to it being in the center of the property. He said individuals who are the owners or operators of heavy equipment were consulted and that the operators of those heavy equipment were creating fire barriers to contain the fire on the western front. A thick plume of smoke shot into the air as explosions erupted from the flames at Manpower Scrap Metal Yard. Firefighters and other officials were busy at the scene last night directing heavy equipment. At last reports, there were no reports of any buildings being damaged, according to police. Investigations continue into the country's latest homicide. A man shot and killed near his home on Palima Street off Nassau Street yesterday morning. Police say the victim was identified by his family as 25-year-old Stravante Moss. He was found in a gray Honda Civic in an open lot when officers responded to gunshots in the area around 10 a.m. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Chief Justice Brian Moree saying that criticisms of the court should be measured and done in a way so as not to denigrate a judge or the process. His comments coming after Minister of Public Works Desmond Bannister described a recent Supreme Court ruling as, quote, silly, dangerous, and a flawed decision that was wrong in law. Last Monday, Supreme Court Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson ordered the government to cease and desist further demolitions in shanty towns on Abaco and ruled that the government must get approval from the court if it wishes to demolish any structures in the shanty towns. When asked about the comments, Sir Brian said he didn't want to specifically address any of the comments, but wanted to indicate that the administration of justice relies very heavily on the public trust which the community has in the courts and in the judiciary. And Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Michael Pintard calling for more sensitivity when deciding the fates of sitting representatives. Pintard said political parties should not pretend that it does not matter when individuals leave. He was speaking during the budget debate yesterday. He said political organizations in the Bahamas do this all the time, and they believe that anyone who leaves or goes, that it is inconsequential. He says this is not true. Overseas, Israel's fragile new government has shown little interest in addressing the decades-old conflict with the Palestinians, but it may not have a choice. Jewish ultranationalists are already staging provocations aimed at splitting the coalition and bringing about a return to right-wing rule. In doing so, they risk escalating tensions with the Palestinians weeks after an 11-day Gaza war was halted by an informal ceasefire. New Prime Minister Naftali Bennett's best hopes for maintaining his ruling coalition, which consists of 8 parties from across the political spectrum, will be to manage the conflict, the same approach favored by his predecessor, Benjamin Netanyahu, for most of his 12-year rule. But that method failed to prevent 3 Gaza wars and countless other eruptions. In sports, the Bahamas Games, the multi-sports undertaking by the Bahamas government, appears to be on the way back. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Iram Lewis, says that they are in the planning stages for the 6th edition of the Games, set for summer 2023. In total, about $3.328 million has been set aside in the national budget over the next 3 fiscal periods for the hosting of the Games, $650,000 in this upcoming 2021-2022 cycle. At its peak, the Bahamas Games was one of the more anticipated and thrilling sporting events of the country. You can read more about what Lewis is saying about it in today's Guardian Sports section. And from the NFL, Donovan Mitchell from the NBA, Donovan Mitchell scoring 45 points, getting his Utah Jazz past the LA Clippers in a 112-109 victory last night. And in the other game last night, the 76ers getting past the Atlanta Hawks 118-102 in Game 2 of their they've evened the series. You can get those scores back up for you in just a bit. But that's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Here are your correct scores. The Clippers getting past the Jazz 118 to 104. And Atlanta getting past Philly 103 to 100 last night. All right, in your weather for today. Here's what's happening. We've got a moist and unstable air mass that will support unsettled weather over portions of the northwest Bahamas, while high pressure dominates weather elsewhere. Boaters and residents should remain alert for possible waterspout or tornado activity. Localized flooding is also possible in low-lying or flood-prone areas during heavy or prolonged rainfall events. For the northwest Bahamas today, look for mostly cloudy to overcast and very warm conditions, humid as well, with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Some showers may be heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Small craft operators should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Winds south-southeast to south-southwest at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times. Seas 2 to 4 feet. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly to mostly cloudy and hot with a chance of a few isolated showers and a possible thunderstorm, mainly across the central Bahamas. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Temperature-wise today, look for another hot day. Highs getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. Time for a quick break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
BTC is elevating the Bahamas with our super-fast fiber internet experience. More people in more places can enjoy the best home connection starting with 100 megabit speeds. With over $6.5 million invested, our network grows stronger each day, delivering the best home internet for all your needs. Call us at 242-225-5282. Visit btcbahamas.com or any retail store to upgrade to the super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Don Sargent will be joining us. You can join the conversation as well. Our phone lines are still acting up. Yep, we might be having an issue, but definitely 325-4259 is working for you today. 325-4259 as we wait for BTC to get us sorted out there. But, yeah, so you can also tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. 422-4796 on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC, Standard Text Rate Supply. I think we've got him now. Don? Yep. Don, good morning. Great to have you with us. Don Sargent, good morning.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi, hope all is well.
Yes. Thankfully there's no smoke that I can smell and I'm still alive. So, it's great.
We're going to talk about that in a second. It's you can still see it out there, though. On the way in, saw that. It is quite noticeable. I think we're going to be dealing with that for quite a while there. But I'm glad to hear that nobody was injured from that, and we'll get into that in a bit. We'll talk about that and more of what's in the news. Plus, this morning, we are going to be talking about how far can you go in your critique of a judge or a magistrate's decision in court. We're going to be discussing that with our resident lawyer this morning. And then later in Morning Blend Business, time's running out for you to redeem those pennies. You've only got a few days, really, left the rest of the month. We'll tell you what you need to know, what you need to do if you still have pennies on hand. That's coming up. But right now, let's get into what else is in the news. And in the news, as Don hinted to, that massive blaze at that scrap metal site, huge fire close to the former city dump. The images, spellbinding, the videos, just unbelievable. That orange, I guess you can tell the difference between when the dump's on fire and when something else is on fire. That was a sight to behold, and our Travis Carroll talking about it last night, that fire erupting at the scrap metal facility near the New Providence Ecology Park, formerly the city dump, off Tonique Williams-Darling Highway, shortly before 8 o'clock last night. Assistant Superintendent of Police Audley Peters telling reporters at the scene that the fire was still spreading and that the cause of the blaze was unknown. He noted that there were old vehicles where the fire ignited. He spoke to reporters, Peters, around 10:30 last night, so a late night for many folks. And he said that the compound, the fire at the compound, they realized that their heavy equipment, their fire equipment, was unable to reach the fire due to it being in the center of the property, and they had to ask for people with heavy equipment to help create fire barriers to contain the fire on the western and northern front. And that thick plume of smoke could be seen for miles, and there were explosions as well. So this was really, really quite a night. And as I said, the smoke is still up there this morning. You can see it, and boy, it's going to be a lot. Of course, the early reports were that it was the dump and the ecology park now, and people were like, "What? This again?" But not this time. Boy, not this time. So, but just a mess, just a really scary situation there. But again, nobody's been hurt, and that's good. Hopefully they'll get that under control, and there won't be any long-term consequences, people breathing in that toxic air. But hey, wow. Boy, and there was another murder yesterday, of course, and a dramatic scene. The family members coming to grips with that yesterday. A violent situation yesterday. A man shot multiple times, just steps away from his home. And you can read about that in today's Nassau Guardian. We do want to talk some politics, though. Michael Pintard, the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, giving his presentation on the budget, his communication on the budget debate yesterday, speaking about the way that these political parties, the PLP and the FNM, how they treat their MPs, how they decide the fates, who's going to be running and who's not going to be running. And he says a lot needs to be done. The treatment leaves a lot to be desired. We've been hearing a lot about that as people have been venting over the past couple of weeks with this debate. And I'm telling about how they were, some using the word unceremoniously dumped, and how they found out they weren't going to be getting the nomination for the seat they won in the last election. Pintard addressing this yesterday. Take a listen to this report from our Jasmine Brown.
During the last 30 minutes of his contribution to the budget debate, Pintard gave a passionate assessment of the actions of both major parties. He said both the Free National Movement and the Progressive Liberal Party are guilty of making painful decisions for members of parliament and then pretending that the organization isn't weaker once those individuals go their separate ways.
Seeing my colleagues, some of whom are now sitting on the back bench, sometimes it hurts me. I sat here yesterday and saw one of my colleagues rise to his feet and made an intervention, and it brought tears to my eyes. I was hurt. I was hurt for him. It's when you make a determination of how you see your future and the role you want to play in this country in helping to transform it, and then another group makes a choice for you, that is painful.
While he did not name the MP specifically, Fort Charlotte MP Mark Humes recently told the House of Assembly that he was unceremoniously dumped by the party when Jermico Archer was nominated as the FNM's candidate in April. Humes asked for a little more respect in the House of Assembly. Pintard says his heart goes out to MPs in such situations.
All of us have to decide we can be more sensitive with each other.
Pintard also pointed to PLP MP Picewell Forbes, who announced in March that he will not run in the next general election, telling reporters that uncertainty over his renomination and a lack of support from his party's leadership on the ground sealed his fate.
The same thing happened to me with Brother Picewell. It's an equal opportunity thing. There has to be a difference in how we deal with each other. And then we can't pretend like we're not weaker because somehow we've lost someone. And political organizations in the Bahamas do this all the time. Believe that anyone who leaves or goes, it's inconsequential. It is not true.
Leon Lundy has since been ratified as the PLP's candidate for Mangrove Key in South Andros. Meanwhile, Pintard praised his party for leading the country through the COVID-19 pandemic that came months after Monster Storm Dorian. Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right. I want to get your views on what he's saying. You can give us a call. As I said, we've got a challenge with our phone lines. We've got that one line, so we're going to need some real patience today. 325-4259. But you can also tweet us at MorningBlend969 or facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. In just a bit, I'll also play a report in which the FNM chairman talks about this election process and how it isn't him, it isn't the prime minister. He says it's the constituencies, they have committees, and they decide who they want. So he says. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit, but let's hear what you have to say about what Pintard is saying. Let's take this call. Yep. Good morning, caller. You're on Morning Blend.
Mr. Strachan, how are you doing, sir?
Hi, good morning. Hello. Yeah, we can hear you. How are you doing? We can hear you. Hi, good morning. Doing well.
Mr. Strachan.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. You can't hear us, Dave? We can hear you. We can hear you.
Mr. Strachan, first of all, Michael Pintard can't talk for the PLP, okay? He have no authority to talk for the PLP. And Mr. Strachan, with all due respect to you, right? Last week, you owe the judge an apology because you sat on a talk show and allowed people to ridicule the judge.
No one did that. No, you really, see, this is why. Every time we say we'll give this man another shot, you are talking. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. Did anybody do that? Nobody did that. They said they didn't agree with the decision. We're going to talk about that today, though, what you can say. And I don't know. You all need.
You know what you should do, Dwight? You should play a song.
I should cut the phone lines. That's what I should, so that we never take calls again.
There's also a great song you should play. Just play Shaggy. It wasn't me, because that seems to be
what's wrong with me, though?
At the moment.
I'm going to have a psychologist come on the show. Something is very wrong with me, because every single time, I'm just like the Bahamian electorate. Every single time he comes around, I say, let me give him another shot. Stupid idiot me. What is my problem?
Well, Dwight, think of it as like, I don't know, like it's a bad marriage, you know?
I was going to say that, but then that's so insulting. That's so, you know? Yeah, but the electorate analogy is better. The electorate analogy is better. Because he's changed. It's been 5 years. No. It's the same clown.
Yeah, pretty much. But they changed the branding though, Dwight. Remember?
It's the same color.
The whole
It's the same
Believe
color.
in Bahamians. That was an excellent and
New
extremely
line,
effective campaign.
same color. Stop.
I mean, yeah, it's the same organizations.
Okay.
They just changed brand
Let's
differently.
Let's try to forget that just now. Dare we do this? I really don't know. This is going to be foolish. Here we go again. Caller, good morning. Welcome to Morning Blend. Are you there? Yes, caller? Woodworking session. Okay. Hi, are you there? No. All right, let's stick with the text messages today. That might be the best thing to do. Okay, so yeah, people criticizing me.
You just gotta woosah, man. Just woosah.
Someone says, I repeat again, I am not sorry for you with Dave. You can learn one of these days. LOL. Okay, yeah. Another one. I am not sorry for you, Dwight. You're to blame for Dave's stupidity. He needs to be banned for as long as you host your show. Well, beyond that, I would hope. Okay. All right. Yeah. This one says, first of all, Pintard should speak for himself and the F&M. Secondly, no one is guaranteed or has a right to a nomination for a seat. You serve in the House at the pleasure of the Prime Minister and the party machinery. If you have a grievance, you should take that up internally with the party. None of the persons not given a nomination again were considered stellar, in my opinion. Well, yeah, you could say that, but some of the people given the nomination are also not considered stellar. So, what is the criteria that we use? That would be good to know. Another one here, talking about judges are not infallible. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a bit. This one here, please tell Mr. Pintard, the Bahamian people don't vote in government to make rookie mistakes. Now, this texter might be talking about Pintard's comments about Oban. He said Oban was a rookie mistake.
I don't know, man. We always say that we don't vote in people to make mistakes, and then they always come in and make mistakes. So they think we do.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're arguing something else, because mistakes are bound.
Right, mistakes are bound. Human beings are involved, and there will be mistakes. But that one seemed to be very special. That there was a very unusual situation. And the fact that nobody's willing to talk about it now is even more curious. It is very, very bizarre, and we do need some accountability.
You mean like Ramwood Wells' letter of intent that was supposed to be addressed in House Assembly under Christie's administration never happened, and then promised under the F&M, and that still didn't happen?
Well, you know what was weird about that one, and what's different about that one compared to this? Other people in the cabinet were saying that's up to him to explain. They were leaving it up to him for some bizarre reason. And he went on one show and kind of gave a flowery, scripture-filled response. And we still don't really understand it. But at least he tried. He did something. I mean, it's not acceptable, but he talked. Now, this one, nobody's saying anything. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Oh, what? I don't even remember that.
Maybe it was up to everybody and not just one person.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
But like I just said, it's bound. This type of nonsense. I'm not saying I'm excusing it. I'm not. But it's just, I don't know, man. I like you said, like I sometimes I feel stupid when I expect or assume better from either party, and then they disappoint. And it's like, yeah, this was predictable that something like this could have happened. You know?
Well, yeah, I do blame us for that, though. That one, yeah. We are.
It's like a bad spouse.
We are to blame for that. Absolutely. This one here. The passionate plea by MP Pintard really has little basis in fact. The reality is that parties can treat their personnel in a way described because the voting public has demonstrated over the years that it does not matter. The question is Pintard not paying attention. Has Pintard not been paying attention? Okay. This one says, good for you with Dave. But I still believe in you. My prayers for your phone line not working. Oh, you did it. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Yes, Dwight, I agree with you. You're dumb for that. Okay. Good morning. You're not stupid. You're not an idiot. Oh, thank you very much. I needed to hear that. Let's take this. Let's listen to this report. This is Kyle Walking speaking with the chairman of the F&M. What he has to say about the nominations process, at least in the F&M. Take a listen.
Amid criticism from some sitting Free National Movement MPs over the party's candidate selection, F&M Chairman Carl Culmer insisted on Monday that the process is fair. However, in recent weeks, several F&M MPs have expressed their dissatisfaction with the process, with at least one member calling it undemocratic.
It was a process. There was no one individual or one person saying that, hey, I want this person or I don't want that person. And it was a fair process.
But not everyone agrees with that. Last week, during her contribution to the budget debate, Seabreeze MP Lanice Roll blasted the F&M's candidate selection process, which left her and several other sitting F&M MPs out in the cold.
There are those likened to King Darius's advisors who have determined that I will not return as an MP for whatever their reasons.
Pine Ridge MP Frederick McAlpine also won hitting out at the Minutes administration and the F&M over that and a number of other issues. And in a move that surprised many, Fort Charlotte MP Mark Humes, who was snubbed for renomination, called on the Prime Minister to show him some respect.
The duly elected and unceremoniously deselected Member of Parliament sits here. I think it's quite disrespectful that my party.
Culmer said the process is open to scrutiny.
Well, the thing is, it's about giving persons the opportunity, and we look at what is best for that particular constituency, who they think is best, and they had to say.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said on Friday he's unfazed by the criticism of the F&M MPs. A while back, he said several sitting MPs would not be getting a nomination. For the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
It's a lot of ums and ahs in there. Just saying, just throwing it out there. I'm not surprised by the Prime Minister, or should I say Dr. Minnis's response either. Anybody who's paid attention to him since his rise to power has realized he's a very shrewd operator. See, I'm doing it too, right? And also makes a lot of politically crafty moves, I should say. So, I mean, that's no surprise there for that. But in terms of the party machinery, I don't think the issue is necessarily, at least that the MPs have been bringing up, is that the party can do these things. It's just simply they find out oftentimes the same time as the public that, you know, it's kind of like decisions made by tweet with Trump. Like, you shouldn't be finding out at the same time as the entirety of the public or on a newspaper headline or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
If it is that you're not going to be nominated, you know, make a phone call or something to say, hey, someone else got the nomination. That's the vibe and gist that I'm getting from a lot of these MPs. Now, when they say the comparison between that and the PLP, I can't say that I agree or disagree with that because I don't know enough about the situation. The only candidate that I could have seen things happening for or changing for under the PLP would have been Piceville Forbes. And that was a situation in Andres because the Lundy guy was making a lot of moves prior to the nomination even coming up. And it seemed clear to me that he was vying for the position.
Yeah.
So,
but this,
other than that, I can't see it.
Yeah. Let's open up this discussion, though. So when people in a constituency say that this MP wasn't doing a good job, that this MP wasn't doing anything, what do they mean? What are they talking about? Let's try to understand that. How do we measure the success of one MP versus the failures of another? What are we talking about?
Yeah, because last election cycle we had a lot of complaints with persons saying certain MPs, not all of them, but certain MPs either weren't showing up to the House Assembly or weren't really present in the constituency, and as a result, they got obliterated at the polls. That and of course the backlash against allegedly, so we say, the Christie administration in general. So I don't know. It's a very hard thing to pinpoint and to say that this sole thing is the reason, but I do think that the way that we've been going about it seems a bit wonky.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to your messages. You can tweet us, you can Facebook us, you can text us 422-4796. And again, we've got some challenging phone lines today, but is that a caller there? Yeah. Caller, are you on the line? Good morning. Are you there?
Is that me?
Yeah, you're on. Good morning.
A godly day to this Dak University along with you and Don Dwight. Dwight, first I must say your audio are coming over beautiful with Don over the telephone, but you're not coming on.
Okay.
Also, I want to say, couple of things. this bunch of murderings that are happening in this country, I think it's setting a poor example for the youngsters. You know, if our police cannot handle it, then I think the government should get some other police in.
What do you want the police to do about that?
Because this doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's all on the
Also, I
people.
wanna ask
Okay, so
you a
they really don't
question.
hear me. Is that what's going on? Mr. Producer?
Pertaining to the
So they can't hear me at all.
sea bear that were released on Paradise Island. It's okay for me to ask a question pertaining to that?
I'm sure I can't answer it.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't
Okay.
heard that.
But something needs to be done about this bunch of murdering that are happening in this country, and it doesn't need to be like that. Thank you.
Okay, all right. But you know, I don't understand. I don't understand the first part of what he was saying. The police, it's us killing each other, right? Yeah, of course it sets a bad example for the youngsters. That's us. That's us doing that, right? You, me, family members, everybody with the guns. So we have to deal with that. We are tired of having that discussion, right? There's nothing the government or the police can do about that. They can improve the way they solve the matters, the way they investigate the matters. That often leaves a lot to be desired. But to prevent them is challenging.
Have you been noticing any politicization of crime this election cycle, Dwight? Because I haven't.
Don't speak too soon. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to speak too soon, but usually we hear the arguments to say these things happen under this administration, we can do better. And then when they get into power, it's like that. It was never up to you in the first place, but okay. But I at least thus far, I have not been seeing much of that. Even though that's kind of taking us a bit off the topic, I just wanted to. It's something that I'm kind of glad that I'm not seeing. That you're not like making this a political issue.
Well, it's a numbers game, so the numbers are definitely down from some peaks that we had a few years back. So the current administration will always claim that they were responsible for bringing numbers down. But with the numbers up for the first quarter of the year, I'm sure somebody's going to start batting that around. But we will see. Hopefully, the public can see beyond that. Hopefully by now. All right, some text messages coming in. This one says, I listen to your show every day. Please help me understand what it is that Dave does. There are many callers that do the same things that Dave does, and nothing happens. It's clear that you are annoyed by Dave's PLP tactics, but not the F&M's tactics. Well, caller, I don't think you do listen to the show. Our friend Dave does things in a very unusual way, likes to call people's names and accuses people of all manner of things, and he's going to get us into some serious legal problems, right? And so that is why we are very, very, very wary of some of the things that Dave says sometimes. And we've told him this before. He just loves to drop names, and it's kind of scary. And then he says stuff that's totally untrue, like what he said this morning. And it's crazy. All right, this one says here, Bahamians simply do not know how the Westminster system of party politics works, I guess. This is so after so many years. Minister Pintard proves that if this country had a real system of local government, maybe Bahamians would probably learn how it works. Yep, I agree with you there. And that's what I'm saying. How do constituencies decide that their MP is a failure, that the MP doesn't do any work? We see this with other MPs who've been there for years, decades. Like, we would look at your area. This is a disaster. Why are you in there after 4 terms? So I don't understand it. So they make it make sense. Somebody tell us, call us and tell us how you know. Someone's asking, is Don Dr. Minnis' campaign manager? I don't understand. What did you say?
I think they're probably saying that in reference to what I said about Minnis being a shrewd operator or being very shrewd politically. And I said it purely because of what happened under the situation when he was removed. Was he removed at one point as leader of the opposition by Loretta Butler? And then the things that happened behind the scenes with that I'm being very politically correct when I use the word clever. But other than that, I don't know why they're saying that. I pretty much talk about everybody the same.
Yeah.
Pete ain't no better than Paul.
Okay. Boy, I tell you, anything you say, Menace is wearing a nice suit. Oh, he's an FNM. He's an FNM. Yeah. So, okay. Anyway, I found out recently that people in the branch office that select a candidate are not all from the area. How could this be? Oh, boy. Okay. I don't know.
Is that the same with both parties, or that's just one party, though?
I have no idea.
When I say
This person says, Dwight, I know that you don't like these types of texts. Oh. But is it me? It seems like people from the inner city, once they lose a family member, all of their reactions are the same, throwing themselves on the road, fighting with the police, acting unruly. Do you think it's a culture thing? Okay. I don't know if you can say it's only the people from the inner city. I don't know if you can say that. That might be.
I don't know if it's a culture thing, but I have noticed several cases we've had. Well, not say several. One case in particular I can think of. Actually, there's actually 4 cases that were just like this case. So I'm not being too specific here. Where an individual got into a firefight with the police. Of course, they lost the firefight with the police and lost their life. And with the reactions from the community.
You mean gunfight?
Yes, a gunfight. Okay. That's what I should have said. Same thing. But yes, they got into a gunfight. They fired back at the police.
Firefight
lost
their
very
life. Serious.
They died in the firefight and the gunfight. Sorry, yes. And the community's response was that that shouldn't have happened because the police didn't have to shoot him. And I was trying to figure out like what part of that makes any sense if you're shooting at police. And everyone acknowledges that the person had a criminal history and like was headed down this path for years. And also was known to police and had been arrested before. I just couldn't I was just reading the story trying to understand the rationale of even some family members who were just lashing out at authorities or were saying things that the police overreacted to the situation. And I just couldn't understand it. But then I started to like notice a trend in some cases, not all, of I don't know if I should say it's just a natural reaction, but I guess when it's someone that's close to you, you know, your reaction is that you want this person to still be here even though they're no longer here. You know, or sometimes it's just what is it? Not no good son. It's my good son syndrome where they can do no wrong, even though you know that they have done a lot of wrong. I see the same thing, that same mentality transfers over to when we talk about politics, where some people cannot see any wrong with the team they support. And I guess it's because you're too close to the situation. It's hard to look at it objectively.
Yeah. This person says, hey, it's not us, Dwight. When you put all of us in the group, finding solutions becomes impossible. I'm not contributing. I'm a law-abiding citizen doing my part to help build our country. It's not all of us. Let's be honest about the ills in our country and find the solutions to fix them. Okay, I hear you. You know, I don't know. Sometimes I think some of us, I could say the same thing, right? But I know that there are people who I can see are heading down the wrong path. And I, like many others, may say, well, I really hope they catch themselves. I've tried, or I pray and I'll wash my hands off this. But right, perhaps that's not the best way to do it. And I think a lot of people fall into that category. Well, that's my distant cousin. That's not really, you know. But all of that is contributing there. Some people know some things that had they said something to somebody, we could have avoided a horrible situation. But they're like, I'm minding my own business. I'm being a law-abiding citizen, doing what I have to do. Right? So all of that contributes. All of that. But okay, I hear you. It's not you. This one says...
There's also the mentality of supposed, what they say, stop snitching or don't snitch.
Yeah.
And I always found it to be very paradoxical because a lot of for the rappers in the past that used to say those things, the ones that are still alive, I've said like, no, maybe we should, because our community, talking about like the African American community and the Black community in general, has tremendously suffered because of it, and it's become a cesspool for criminal activity. And as a result of it, crime rapidly rises, and it's one of the reasons why when people get a couple of dollars, the first thing they do is get out of the neighborhood, which is counterproductive to fixing the problems. So,
Okay. Someone says here, we need to discourage the gun-toting punks. Give them 5 years for every bullet, 10 to 20 years if we catch them with a gun. That should discourage them. Unstopped giving them bail when you catch them with a gun. And stop, I guess it's saying. Let them spend the rest of their life in jail for toting guns, killing people on a bunch of foolishness. Okay. On this one here, what do you think the police should or can do about these shooting deaths? We calling in with our views. You disagree. Why don't you give an educated solution to get the police chief to call in with real answers? How are the police going to stop you from killing somebody? I don't know. But we always do. You all don't hear, or you choose not to hear or to listen when we say these things. And we've talked about it many times. You said there are all kinds of programs. You know this. We hear this in every report. This is my third son getting killed. See, come on now. From the time the first one got killed, we need to have an intervention there with those other boys and the girls to get them into programs where they will not see this as I've got to get revenge or this is the way to live. I got to do better than my brother. What happened to him? Those type things. We just don't even do counseling. You witness your brother, father getting killed. You see them lying in the street, and you're expected to put yourself together and carry on smartly. What are we doing? You're looking for trouble. Right? The police know exactly who's coming from the families. They see the patterns. That's one thing the police can do. Right? They see the patterns, and they need to get either with the MPs or community leaders to get these folks into something that will steer them away from the direction they're heading. That's one thing.
That's a good point about mental health. I've wondered that too about police, because sometimes police find themselves in situations they don't want to be in. Whether in a shootout with someone, and oftentimes the suspect is shot. I've always wondered if the police receive counseling, and if anybody involved or in the area, and family members and stuff, ever receive counseling. So that's an interesting point that you brought up, Dwight. And I think that probably, if there is none that's being rendered to either side, whether it be family members or the police, I think that does contribute to the cycle. Not saying that police are causing it, just saying that's a lot of trauma that's unaddressed.
Yeah. And on this as well, and on the EMTs, on so many people who have to witness these things, and they just, get back to work. We can't continue to do this.
Yep.
We're desensitized. Everybody's recording and looking and zooming in on dead bodies and forwarding it to everybody, and now it's not a big deal to see somebody dead, someone you used to know dead on your phone. Children seeing that from a very young age, and it was supposed to be normal after that. Okay. Boy. This one says, I cheer for Michael Pintard. I think by far he's the most competent Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources of all time, but is he saying that wayward, horrible MPs should receive the nomination simply because they're the incumbent? It makes no sense. No, he wasn't saying that. He was saying they need to be dealt with in a fairer way after helping, especially the governing party, helping with the numbers to bring them to power. It's kind of mean, rude to just dismiss people like that. And that's what he's saying. But again, horrible MPs, who's determining this? How is that determined? Right? What is it? Because you didn't tote the party line all the time? Is that what makes you horrible? It can't be, as we've seen, because your constituency is a mess. It can't be that. Because there's a lot of people right there right now who shouldn't be receiving a nomination if that is the case. So what is it? Help us to understand. That's what we're asking. All right. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? We had you on hold for a while. Are you there, caller? Nope. Okay. Try to call back again. That one line, 325-4259. 325-4259. This one says here, this text, a few governments back, the FNM passed a very productive firearms law. The incoming PLP government repealed it. SMT. All right. We need to have a zero policy towards guns, handguns, assault rifles in general. Yeah. All right. Let's see if we can take that call, and then I want to read this very quickly before we take a break. Caller, good morning. Good morning. You're on Morning Blend. Caller, good morning. Are they not hearing us there? Yep. Oh, okay, we can hear you now. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Okay. All right, let's leave that alone there. All right. So yeah, we'd like to get that answer to how do they determine it? How do you determine it? How do you measure the success of an MP? And as I say almost every show now, when are we going to realize that this system is flawed? At least for the Bahamas. And as a previous texter mentioned, perhaps if we had different layers of government, it might make some sense. But we don't. We're getting the MPs to do everything. To do everything here. Which is not the Westminster way. Better examples of Westminster right in the Commonwealth, right? Oh, of course, it'd be in the Commonwealth.
Well,
But,
Dwight, they seem to like it because nobody advocating to change it, even though the report's sitting there. Like, the part that also confuses me is like, if you don't have, I shouldn't be saying it like this, but if I didn't have a nomination, right, I would kind of be like House Speaker and just speak my mind on things all the time, right? Even though I disagree with a lot of what he has to say. But I'm referencing this because if I were an MP and didn't have a nomination for something, I would just come out and say, well, this government should be doing this, so this government should be doing this.
Wait, why does it have to be like that? See, that's the problem. Why is it only when they're not getting the nomination, when they've been fired, when they have had to quit, when they are no longer the chairman of something? Why is that the only time they speak their minds or speak up for their community?
That's the gravy train ain't rolling no more,
crazy.
Dwight.
That's crazy. It doesn't have to be like this. This is not.
But it is.
Yeah. Okay. So what are we gonna do? Just like every few years, they go, oh boy, here they go again. Yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Indefinitely?
That's what we've been doing for like 47 years.
All right. This is insanity. This is insanity. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. Hello. Okay, we've really got a problem here. So let's just stop the lines then. The phones, we're going to get that sorted out at some point, hopefully. Again, BTC, come through, please. All right. I want to read this. Let me read these messages, and then I want to read this very quickly before we take a break. This one says, we need an MP recall system. Is this the MP recall system they promised? Is this it? What they're...
Is this your king?
Who? There are others. What about them? Okay. This one says, the police are trained to stop crime. Let them do their work with the courts. I agree 100% with the texter suggesting harsher penalties. Your main opinion on the subject. Build a big jail cell. Big jail cancels bail involving guns. Mandatory life sentences is our solution. Oh, yeah. Okay. Another one here. I'm from South Andros and live here. Mr. Forbes is not running here. Has nothing to do with the PLP. The people here decided that we want to go in a different direction. You guys need to get the facts. Come here and talk to the people. All right. So what was the issue? That's what we're asking. And that's fine. What was the issue? What was he doing or not doing? Tell us about that. Why did you decide that? What happened? Okay. Someone says, praise the Lord, no more calls. Oh, boy. I just want to read this very quickly. This is interesting. People talking about mandatory life sentences and harsher penalties. Okay, so Kofi Goodman, you know that name? Goodman loses his bid to overturn a 55-year sentence for Marco Archer's murder. Our Artesia Davis writing about this today. Convicted child killer Kofi Goodman on Monday lost a bid to have his conviction and fair sentence overturned. 55-year sentence. Goodman, otherwise known as Eduardo Ferguson, was convicted of the murder of 11-year-old Marco Archer during a second trial on May 30th, 2017. On May 7th, 2018, he was sentenced to 55 years imprisonment with credit for the 7 years in prison. Goodman had to seek permission to appeal out of time because he had missed the 3-week filing deadline. However, Justices of Appeal, Sir Michael Barnett, John Isaacs, and Roy Jones said that none of the grounds of appeal advanced by Public Defender Stanley Roll had any merit. Prosecutors had accused Goodman of kidnapping Archer and taking him to his home in Cable Beach with the intention of sexually abusing him. Archer's naked body was found near Goodman's home, and his clothing was found in a garbage bin in front of the home. Archer's remains were shrouded in a sheet with an identical pattern to one that was found on the bed in the home. Roll alleged that Wayne Monroe QC had improperly advised Goodman and had wrongly stipulated evidence. He also accused the prosecutor of misconduct and the trial judge of not ensuring that Goodman had a fair trial. The court, however, dismissed each ground as devoid of merit and upheld the conviction and sentence. Goodman heard the court's decision via Zoom from the remand court. He raised his hand and asked, "Could I say something?" The appellate judges denied his request and advised him to speak to his lawyer. Okay. So that's one decision that we can agree with there, although 55 years... and credit for time served.
He had the death penalty originally, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and that started the debate about what is the worst of the worst.
Well, before that. But yeah. But, unduly harsh, he was saying that the sentence was. Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
That is crazy. That happens a lot. A lot of people unduly harsh, 20, 30 years. Oh, yeah? Tell it to the person who's dead and their family. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are talking about rulings in the courts. How far can you go in your critiques or criticisms? We'll get to that in just a bit. This is Morning Blend on a Tuesday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I wanted to prance. Whoa, the music was jamming, Lord, it put me into a trance. And everybody was looking at me as I made up my own new dance.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. President Biden's in Brussels for the U.S.-European Union summit ahead of his meeting tomorrow with Russia's Vladimir Putin. And there's news, says our Julie Walker.
White House officials think they can build goodwill with Europe ahead of that Putin meeting. To that end, they've announced the creation of a joint U.S.-EU Trade and Technology Council. The Transatlantic Council will work on coordinating standards for artificial quantum computing and biotechnologies, as well as coordinating efforts on bolstering supply chain resilience. The White House also said the two sides will discuss efforts to stem climate change and the launching of an expert group to determine how best to reopen travel safely as the coronavirus pandemic ebbs.
The first state to lock down against the coronavirus is opening up. California is lifting most of its COVID-19 restrictions starting today. Here's our Ed Donahue.
Governor Gavin Newsom says the state reached this point because of the work of Californians.
No more physical distancing requirements, no more caps on occupancy, moving beyond the blueprint, aligning with the CDC on masks mandates.
But the governor points out the virus is still out there.
We're not done.
To get more people vaccinated, the state is offering dream vacations and cash prizes.
The heat across the West is record-shattering and dangerous, says the Weather Service. It's going to be 5 degrees today in Salt Lake City, Utah, 117 in Phoenix. China says it's detected no unusual radiation outside that nuclear power plant near Hong Kong, following a news report of a leak. Nuclear experts say it appears gas might be leaking from fuel rods inside the reactor in the plant. CNN says U.S. officials do not think there's a severe safety threat. This is AP News. A U.S. intelligence report warns of the potential for more violence by QAnon followers. Here's our Mike Gracia.
A new report compiled by the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security warns some adherents of the QAnon conspiracy theory could target Democrats or other political opponents for more violence. The report was released Monday by Senator Martin Heinrich, a Democrat representing New Mexico. The report warns some QAnon adherents could come to believe they have an obligation to engage in real-world violence. While he was in office, President praised QAnon followers as people that love our country. According to an Associated Press review of court records, at least 20 QAnon followers are among those charged with federal crimes related to the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Mike Gracia, Washington.
The Dow dropped 85 points yesterday. The S&P was up 7. The Nasdaq was up 104. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
Time for your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic this morning, we've got some heavy traffic on Carmichael Road, eastbound to Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill looking challenging this morning as well, from St. Vincent all the way up to Independence Drive, especially as you approach Carmichael and north of Soldier Road, the northbound lanes there heading towards that roundabout with Independence Drive. Sir Myron Butler Highway, also heavy traffic this morning from Fire Trail all the way up to Tawny-Williams-Darling Highway. That's the northbound lanes, and Gladstone Road busy on the northbound lane to JFK Drive this morning. Elsewhere, we've got Robinson Road between Soldier Road and Old Trail Road. You're seeing some heavy traffic there, westbound, and on Soldier Road at that intersection, Soldier and Robinson Prince Charles Drive. Elsewhere, we are seeing just pockets at major intersections so far. We'll have another real-time report for you coming up after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined. And time for another check of your weather for today. We've got a moist and unstable air mass producing unsettled weather over portions of the northwest Bahamas, while high pressure dominates weather elsewhere. Boaters and residents should be alert for possible waterspouts and tornado activity, and localized flooding is also possible in low-lying and flood-prone areas during heavy or prolonged rainfall events today. Your forecast for today for the northwest Bahamas, mostly cloudy to overcast, very warm and humid, with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Some showers may be heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Small craft operators should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly to mostly cloudy and hot, with the chance of a few isolated showers and possible thunderstorms mainly across the central Bahamas. Temperature-wise, 81 right now in Nassau, 80 in Freeport. Look for highs getting up to around 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the current wet pattern across the northwest Bahamas will continue at least through Thursday. Drying trend is expected, though, to begin and extend to the weekend by Friday across the entire country. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy and warm conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northwest and central Bahamas, partly cloudy and hot in the southeastern islands. Thursday, mostly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms across the extreme northwestern islands, partly cloudy and hot with the chance of isolated showers elsewhere. In the tropics, we've got Tropical Storm Bill. No threat to us, though, out in the Atlantic off the east coast of the U.S. Not going to be a threat to anyone, actually. Elsewhere, we've got an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the Bay of Campeche in association with the broad low-pressure area being multiple development. The system has a high chance now, 70% chance for tropical cyclone formation through the next 5 days. And there's a strong tropical wave located several hundred miles south of the Cabo Verde Islands. It's also being monitored. The system has a low chance at the moment, 20% chance for tropical cyclone formation through the next 5 days. Again, none of these systems pose any threat to the Bahamas. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Rev Cable Bahamas, you and us together.
BTC is elevating the Bahamas with our super-fast fiber internet experience. More people in more places can enjoy the best home connection starting with 100 megabit speeds. With over $6.5 million invested, our network grows stronger each day, delivering the best home internet for all your needs. Call us at 242-225-5282. Visit btcbahamas.com or any retail store to upgrade to the super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
RBC with the Bahamas for over 110 years with new ways to bank better. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future with new products and services and investment in the community, youth, and education initiatives. We are here to help you grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Travel less, but vacation more by indulging yourself and your family with the ultimate staycation getaway at Atlantis. Sleep in, relax, play, go out. Say yes to a fantastic staycation in your very own paradise just over the bridge. For reservations, call 363-6483 or visit Atlantis Local on Facebook for details.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more to love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best. Believe in best.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 sandwiches, including the fresh Strachan sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Tuesday, June 15th, 2021, and you're listening to the Guardian News Network Morning Report. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news. Firefighters at this hour are still trying to extinguish a massive blaze which broke out at a local scrapyard last night. It sent an ominous plume of smoke into the sky and threatened surrounding brush next to the New Providence landfill. Smoke can still be seen coming from that site this morning. Police say they were alerted to that fire at the Manpower scrap metal yard just before 8 p.m. More than 2 hours later, Assistant Superintendent of Police Audley Peters informed the press of the scene. Unique challenge in trying to prevent that fire from spreading to nearby structures and properties.
An assessment of the compound was done, and the realization that the fire equipment was unable to reach the fire due to it being in the center of the property. Individuals who are the owners of or operators of heavy equipment, they were consulted, and at this moment, the operators of those heavy equipment are creating fire barriers to contain the fire on the western front and also on the northern front. And at this time, following that barrier creation, the fire department will determine whether it will use its assets to extinguish the fire, depending on how far the equipment themselves would have gotten into the area as to where the fire is located. What the firefighters are doing are attempting to ensure that the fire doesn't jump a certain barrier to get onto another property.
So have water...
Not water, you're using the D8s to create a barrier in a sense.
At that point, he was unable to confirm how that fire got started.
There's no idea at the moment as with the cause of the fire, but apparently where it has begun, there were vehicles, old vehicles, and it's a possibility that it's as a result of flame being ignited. There's no damage to the construction facility or the housing of the company itself. They're attempting to create the barrier to prevent damage to the building, as well as an asset that is very valuable to the company itself.
Well, this morning, Director of Fire Services Assistant Superintendent Kendrick Morris told us that they had managed to contain the blaze and stop it from spreading to nearby buildings on the property or beyond, but that the fire itself is still going. He confirmed no one was injured and that mainly derelict vehicles and residual fuel are feeding that fire.
We had to cut a firewall, and that would stop the fire spread. So once we would have cut a firewall, we would have been able to gain access to the fire. But the fire is still ongoing, but it is contained at this time. So it's going to be burning for a while.
Well, he said they still have 2 units on site and are now using water, but as you heard, he suspects they will be there for a while. In other news, Chief Justice Brian Murray is cautioning critics of judicial decisions to temper their public comments so as not to denigrate the process. His remarks come after Public Works Minister Desmond Bannister drew swift rebuke from some local lawyers for calling a judge's decision on shantytown demolitions silly-sounding and wrong. While not singling out any specific person or comment, the Chief Justice told the Nassau Guardian negative remarks could affect public respect for the judiciary, which is essential to the administration of justice.
As the administration of justice relies very heavily on the public trust which the community has in the courts and in the judiciary. And so I think you've got to be very careful, a judgment or a judge, to do it respectfully and appropriately, in a manner which is tempered and measured and respectful. And I think that's very important.
While acknowledging that free speech is critical to any democracy, the Chief Justice advised that discourse concerning judgments should be responsible.
That everyone has the right to criticize a judgment, to disagree with a judgment. That happens in a free and democratic society, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I do think it needs to be done in a certain way, which is consistent with the conventions and which promotes responsible public discourse, as opposed to denigrating the judge or the process. And I think we need to be careful about that. It is important, in a civilized and ordered society, that we do these things in the right way, which, as I say, promotes a responsible and thoughtful dialogue as opposed to pulling down our institutions.
Justice Murray reminded that any party who feels judgment has the recourse of appealing to a higher court, which is what Attorney General Carl Bethel says government intends to do. That judgment by Supreme Court Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson requires government to now seek judicial approval before demolishing any more unauthorized homes in shantytowns on Abaco. Well, Minister for Agriculture and Marine Resources Michael Pintard is calling on both major political parties to show more sensitivity in deciding the political future of their MPs. That in a young election season, which has already seen both major parties grappling with the awkward failure of some sitting MPs to be ratified as candidates. Jasmine Brown has more.
During the last 30 minutes of his contribution to the budget debate, Pintard gave a passionate assessment of the actions of both major parties. He said both the Free National Movement and the Progressive Liberal Party are guilty of making painful decisions for members of Parliament and then pretending that the organization isn't weaker once those individuals go their separate ways.
Seeing my colleagues, some of whom are now sitting on the back bench, sometimes it hurts me. I sat here yesterday and saw what an intervention, and it brought tears to my eyes. I was hurt. I was hurt for him. It's when you make a determination of how you see your future and the role you want to play in this country in helping to transform it, and then another group makes a choice for you, That is painful.
While he did not name the MP specifically, Fort Charlotte MP Mark Humes recently told the House of Assembly that he was unceremoniously dumped by the party when Jermico Archer was nominated as the F&M's candidate in April. Humes asked for a little more respect in the House of Assembly. Pintard says his heart goes out to MPs in such situations.
All of us have to decide we can be more sensitive with each other.
Pintard also pointed to PLP MP Picewell Forbes, who announced in March that he will not run in the next general election, telling reporters that uncertainty over his renomination and a lack of support from his party's leadership on the ground sealed his fate.
The same thing happened to me with Brother Picewell. There has to be a difference in how we deal with each other. And then we can't pretend like we're not weaker because somehow we've lost someone. And political organizations in the Bahamas do this all the time. Believe that anyone who leaves or goes, it's inconsequential. It is not true.
Leon Lundy has since been ratified as the PLP's candidate for Mangrove Key in South Andros. Meanwhile, Pintard praised his party for leading the country through the COVID-19 pandemic that came months after Monster Storm Dorian. Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, F&M Chairman Carl Culmer is defending how his party handled their nomination process, despite several of their MPs suggesting they were blindsided by their failure to be renominated. Kyle Joaquin has that.
Amid criticism from some sitting Free National Movement MPs over the party's candidate selection, F&M Chairman Carl Culmer insisted on Monday that the process is fair. However, in recent weeks, several F&M MPs have expressed their dissatisfaction with the process, with at least one member calling it undemocratic.
It wasn't one individual or one person saying that, hey, I want this person or I don't want that person. And it was a fair process.
But not everyone agrees with that. Last week, during her contribution to the budget debate, Seabreeze MP Lanice Sherroll blasted the F&M's candidate selection process, which left her and several other sitting F&M MPs out in the cold.
There are those likened to King Darius's advisors who are determined that I will not return as an MP for whatever their reasons.
Pine Ridge MP Frederick McAlpine also won hitting out at the Minutes administration and the F&M over that and a number of other issues. And in a move that surprised many, Fort Charlotte MP Mark Humes, who was snubbed for renomination, called on the Prime Minister to show him some respect.
The duly elected and unceremoniously deselected Member of Parliament sits here. I think it's quite disrespectful that my party.
Culmer said the process is open to scrutiny.
Well, the thing is, it's about giving persons the opportunity and what is best for that particular constituency, who they think is best, and they had to say.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said on Friday he's unfazed by the criticism of the F&M MPs. A while back, he said several sitting MPs would not be getting a nomination. For the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Stay with us, there's more news after the break.
Everything is changing, and your favorite hardware and home improvement store is getting with the program. We Buy You Sell is rolling out its new online shopping feature. If you go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, it's a quick and easy 3-step process. Step 1, browse the gallery and select your item. Step 2, add to cart. And step 3, check out. Go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, to shop with us today.
When does a simple meal become exceptional? You guessed it, when it's made the Fresh Market way. We're talking exquisite cuts of fresh meat, succulent fresh seafood options, the best in fresh produce, and sauces and herbs. Come on, get ready to shake up your taste buds and let our aisles inspire your inner food genius. Homemade salted caramel ice cream, egg noodle stir fry, time to walk and roll. Slow smoked beef ribs, oh baby! Remember, go fresh and craft delicious with Fresh Market.
Apex Award Signs and Engraving is excited about this summer's graduation. Celebrate your graduates with high-quality custom graduation signs, available at great low prices. Need custom printing on apparel, promotional merchandise printing, or photo imaging services? No problem. You can get personalized diploma covers, plaques, plates, albums, clocks, pens, pencils, and so much more. Say congratulations to the class of 2021 with signs, hanging banners, and expressing appreciation Association on social media. Celebrate 2021 graduates with your own custom yard sign, banner, or poster from Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 128 Mount Royal Avenue, or on Wilton Street, a block north of McCarthy's Pharmacy. Open weekdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 9 to 1.
Introducing the new Slices and Sticks from Little Caesars, an unexpected combination. 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, 8 and 1 crazy sauce, only for $9. Didn't expect that one, right? Grab the new Slices and Sticks at Little Caesars Oatsfield, Carmichael Road, or East Street South in the Pineapple Plaza. That's 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, 8 Italian cheese sticks, and 1 crazy sauce, all for only $9. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Jada, jump in the car. Hey girl, your new ride looking good. Y'all, it was rough. No one wanted to insure me as a new driver, and cause I young, thank goodness Jason told me about Shield Insurance right there across from the police college on Thompson Boulevard. Shield hooked me up with one solid policy at a decent price, minus the shade. Them other companies was joking. Well, I glad you get straight. Call Shield Insurance in Nassau or Freeport. They've got you covered.
Shield Insurance agents and brokers.
At Master Technicians, we have what your family traditions need, starting with industry-best refrigerators, ranges, and ovens. We also carry Whirlpool washer and dryers, dishwashers and freezers, leading KitchenAid countertop appliances, blenders, microwaves, juicers, kettles, and KitchenAid stand mixers. We even do free delivery in New Providence or to the boat of your choice. Whether you're doing the laundry, creating new memories in the kitchen, or spending family time in front of the television, Master Technicians Limited, keeping family traditions alive for more than 50 years.
Edinburgh Napier University is holding an information session at the Ballroom Courtyard Marriott on June 23rd from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Attendees can learn about the university's NACOB-recognized 100% online bachelor and master's degrees, and also the Pathway program offered by the Bahamas Baptist University College, leading to ENU's final year bachelor degree in business management. Visit seidegrees.com to make a reservation for the session. That's seidegrees.com to fast-track your career.
When I got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. It's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
Welcome back. Those families still trying to rebuild their lives a month after that devastating fire along Jenny Street got a little help from the Red Cross and the Atlantis Resort yesterday. Georgia Bain explains.
Judith Clinton became emotional as she recalled how the May 2nd fire brought her to a breaking point.
Time I walk in, I discourage. I feel depressed. Sometimes I walk in, I don't know where I'm heading to. Sometimes I feel like just give up because I feel like no hope.
Clinton had recently moved into her mother's Jenny Street home after her son was killed in 2019.
It's a problem with me and my husband, so I left to live with my mother. And after all of that, I lost my son September the 7th, 2019. And the fire happened 2021. And I feel so very bad because I lost one child. And I almost lost my mom, my stepdaddy, and my brothers, and my 4 girls.
A month later, Clinton, her mother, and 4 children are homeless and starting from scratch. According to welfare manager Chanel Johnson, the Bahamas Red Cross has provided food vouchers, home goods, and toiletries. Atlantis Director of Public Relations Katie Longley said once they heard about the fire, officials knew they had to assist.
So naturally, Atlantis has always been about corporate giving. And we heard about this incident. We reached out to the Red Cross just as we did with the victims of Hurricane Dorian and found out how and they indicated that furniture was needed. We were actually in the process of renovating some of our rooms at the Royal, and this was a way for us to reach out and help in whatever small way that we can.
Clinton said the donation couldn't come at a better time.
I feel so much better and enjoy because I didn't know where I was going to find bed and other stuff. And I feel I'm still alive. And I appreciate so much for what y'all done for me.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Georgia Bain.
That's going to do it for local news. Stay with us. AP News is next.
Serenity Gated Community. Come and see what all the buzz is about surrounding our pre-construction home packages. Already, we have successfully made it possible for multiple families to realize their dream of home ownership. It's all about value building, folks. Home investment is by far the greatest investment one will ever make. So invest with call at 376-0318 today.
Welcome home. When you testify in court, you're expected to tell the truth. Same goes for your insurance application form. If you don't answer every question truthfully, you could be found guilty of misrepresentation. Leaving out just one piece of information on your insurance application can lead to misrepresentation. That means your insurance company could deny your policy or refuse to pay your claim. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
Your big day coming, what you want?
I know, but yours ain't too far behind, eh? Anyhow, I want Junior to give me washing machine.
Washing machine? What you want washing machine for?
Well, since Junior working on the island now and 3 people got to use your car, I figure we could wash right here.
You got line, eh?
Not yet.
And if you wash here, what we can talk about?
That's true.
If you wash here, how we can catch capsaicin?
That's true, eh?
And if you ain't got no line, if you wash here?
That's true.
Okay, so what you want Junior get you again?
$1,600 worth of tokens. That's how much the washing machine costs.
Now you're talking, and I'll reserve the car for every Saturday.
Gone for that. So what you want for your big day?
Half of them tokens.
My lord.
So we wash. We washes you, cleans you, presses you 24/7.
What is a lambkin? Time for my annual summer sale. I don't even know where to start. We got so much things we putting on sale. If I was to try and name all of them, this would be a 5-minute infomercial. Anyhow, most everything will be on sale, but I want people to check out my Bahamian design and made patio stones and planters. These are simply, I even ain't know how to say this, but they're unique. Ain't nothing like them on the island. They one of a kind. Plus, you know I can have all of a floor covering on sale. So check them out if you want some great prices on tile. Sale running to July 9th.
Peter the peanut peddler bust up in sunrise that day and start hollering, "Airy nuts! Airy nuts!" So Bullock say, when your nuts that airy, just need one injection in your midsection and that over. Peter say, "Rank!" Today I got dark brown, light brown, light brown, and white. Wallace only did hear the last part of our conversation and get confused right up. She say, "We don't do no colorization and no nuts here. This a watch shop. Carry that freshness someplace else." And now Peter the peanut peddler, he in charge of peanut peddling for the whole of Montrose Avenue.
Sun Isles Watching Clock, number 112 Montrose Avenue. Watching Clock sales and repairs, and sometimes peanuts too.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Cable Bahamas Business Solutions has the right tools to help you grow your small or medium business. Get business in a box. With either our expert or executive package, you'll get high-speed internet, landline, and mobile phone service from as low as $189 per month. Plus, your business gets noticed on Rev TV. Sign up today for Business in a Box from Cable Bahamas Business Solutions. Call now, 711 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
This traffic.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on 9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:23, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a moist and unstable air mass that's going to support unsettled weather over portions of the northwest Bahamas, while high pressure dominates elsewhere. Boaters and residents should be alert for possible waterspout or tornado activity. And localized flooding is also possible in low-lying or flood-prone areas during heavy and or prolonged rainfall events today. For the northwest Bahamas, your forecast calls for mostly cloudy to overcast, very warm and humid conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Some showers may be heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Small craft operators should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in showers and thunderstorms. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, partly to mostly cloudy and hot with a chance of a few isolated showers and possible thunderstorms mainly across the central Bahamas. Temperatures today getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the current wet pattern across the northwest Bahamas will continue at least through Thursday. After that time, though, we're expecting a drying trend to begin and extend into the weekend across the entire country. So for tomorrow, ahead of all of that, Wednesday, look for partly to mostly cloudy and warm conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northwest and central Bahamas, southeastern islands. Thursday, mostly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms across the extreme northwest Bahamas. Partly cloudy and hot with a chance of isolated showers elsewhere. Got a lot happening in the tropics. We've got Tropical Storm Bill, but no threat to anyone heading out into the Atlantic east of the United States right now. And then we've got an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the Bay of Campeche in association with a broad low-pressure area that's being monitored for possible development. The system has a high chance, 70% chance now for tropical cyclone formation through the next 5 days. We've also got a small tropical wave, a strong one, that is located several hundred miles south of the Cabo Verde Islands. It's being monitored. The system has a low chance at the moment, 20% chance for tropical cyclone formation through 5 days. Again, none of these systems posing any threat to the Bahamas at this time. That's your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And at 8:25, another check of your traffic for this morning. And we've got some hot spots, a number of hot spots this morning. We've got Independence Drive, heavy traffic in both directions for you. It's east and westbound at this hour. So you might want to avoid Independence Drive if you can. Perhaps Robinson Road, maybe even Soldier Road might be better for you today. Blue Hill Road is busy as always, northbound of Soldier Road. As you approach that roundabout with Independence Drive, you're going to be seeing heavy traffic in both lanes there. Carmichael Road as well, eastbound, heading towards Blue Hill Road. And that whole stretch of Blue Hill from Soldier down to St. Vincent Road looking kind of congested this morning. Elsewhere, Mile Butler Highway, as usual, heavy traffic in the northbound lanes from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. And Gladstone Road from the northbound lanes heading up to JFK Drive looking busy for you. Got Eastern Road as well, pockets near Fox Hill heading up to Johnson Road, the westbound lanes. And Robinson Road from between Soldier Road to Old Trail Road, you're going to be seeing heavy traffic in the westbound lanes. And at that intersection, East-West Highway, Robinson, Marathon, mainly the East-West Highway drivers heading northeastbound there. And pockets along Prince Charles as you get to Major. A little busy for you this morning, and westbound heading into downtown. Those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income. but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
BTC is elevating the Bahamas with our super-fast fiber internet experience. More people in more places can enjoy the best home connection starting with 100 megabit speeds. With over $6.5 million invested, our network grows stronger each day, delivering the best home internet for all your needs. Call us at 242-225-5282. Visit btcbahamas.com or any retail store to upgrade to the super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Digital banking, online, RBC. RBC banking, online, pay your bills anytime.
RBC Digital Banking is so easy. Granny and Granddad can do it. Sign up for online banking or download the RBC Caribbean app.
With RBC, it's safe and easy. Send your money hassle-free. RBC.
Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/bank at home. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Travel less, but vacation more by indulging yourself and your family with the ultimate staycation getaway at Atlantis. Sleep in, relax, play, go out. Say yes to a fantastic staycation in your very own paradise just over the bridge. For reservations, call 363-6483 or visit Atlantis Local on Facebook for details.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent on this Tuesday morning. And as promised, we are getting into our interview segment this morning. We're talking about critiquing or criticizing decisions made by the courts, judges or magistrates. Are you allowed to? What can you say? What shouldn't you say? When can you say it? When shouldn't you say it? We're asking all those questions this morning. And our resident attorney, Darrell Taylor, is with us this morning. She's a former prosecutor as well. Hopefully she'll have the answers for us. Darrell, always a pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. It's great to be here. And Mr. Sargent, it's good to speak with you as well.
All right, so the timing is amazing. You know, you and I were talking last week after Desmond Bannister's comments, and we booked this segment then. But since we've talked, the Chief Justice has spoken about this, and his comments are in the paper today, and it is amazing the timing. But let me read what he is saying, Chief Justice Sir Brian Murray, talking about criticisms of judges. He says, quote, "Now let me say that everyone has a right to criticize a judgment, to disagree with a judgment. That happens in a free and democratic society. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I do think it needs to be done in a certain way, which is consistent with the conventions and which promotes responsible public discourse as opposed to denigrating the judge or the process. I think we need to be careful about that." All right, so those are very interesting comments from Sir Brian. Of course, as we said, the Public Works Minister, Desmond Bannister, last week, in reaction to the decision by Supreme Court Justice, called the decision silly and dangerous and a flawed decision, and said some things that raised some eyebrows as well. So we're going to talk about that this morning. What can you say? What can't you say? Who can say it? When can you say it? All those questions, and Darrell's going to help us through that. All right, so let's go back to last week. When you heard what Desmond Bannister had to say, I don't know if we should frame it like this, but what did you make of it? Some people were shocked that he was leveling such harsh criticism, and others were saying, well, he's free to say how he feels. Where did you fall in that line?
Now, Dwight, you're putting me.
I'm putting you in spot. Is that bad? Okay. All right. All right.
I don't want to air. Well, actually, I want to err on the side of caution, but I don't want to make the same error.
Okay. Let me take that back. So if you heard someone say, "Oh, that was a silly," if you heard something that was a silly decision, what is that judge into? What would you say?
Again, that's just too close to comfort because obviously it's, I mean, the fact that you don't use a person's name or something, the reference, if you make a reference, it's the same, it's the exact same outcome. But what I want to say very quickly, Dwight, is that the Chief Justice succinctly put what the entire concept is of being able to, I guess, edit or provide an editorial or any comments after a judgment. The thing is, though, when you talk about things like that, what you may run afoul of is having some contemptuous action brought against you. So the broad or the general category that something like that would fall into is what is called contempt of court. Mm-hmm. Now, contempt of court is very broad, and it depends on how you want to look at it in terms of categorizing it. You have civil contempt, criminal contempt, you have indirect contempt, you have direct contempt. It depends on the category that it falls in. So if we want to narrow the scope of what we're talking about, where persons make comments or give commentary or editorials, or persons such as yourself who have talk shows, because you have examples of persons who run afoul of the contempt for saying certain things about judgments that are not complete, and what we call sub judice, where it's still under a judge or the purview of a jury. And so you have to be very careful of what you say. All right. Usually the test is whether or not it's likely to prejudice this particular outcome. And it has to be a real risk. So in advising someone as to what they can say, you need to, well, all of us need to be conscious of what we say and how we say it. But for someone who is aware of these type of things, you need to be extra careful. They say, to whom much is given, much is required. Mm-hmm. So if you know that there is a specific way to go about contesting what a judge has said, then that is the correct thing to do, rather than just freely express what you say. All of us, like the Chief Justice said, all of us, not just a minister or a lawyer or somebody in a prominent position, but all of us as citizens have the right. We have Article 23 that tells that we have the freedom of expression, which means we can hold our opinions, we can draw inferences, we can do so many things, but that's our freedom. Those freedoms, however, as we discussed in the show previously, are subject to the freedoms of others. And you have to be very, very careful, especially when you have a matter that has not been completed, and making a comment on it. And then, like I said, the test is it likely to have an impact on the decision? And if it is likely, there must be a real risk, not just simply, look. And so those are the tests that the court would examine in bringing, at least, I guess, bringing a contemptuous action against the person who said it.
But isn't that really subjective? I mean, because if I'm saying, if you interview me afterward and I say, I am so angry right now, and I mean, that could also be seen as being, as you say, could influence a future matter, could it not? Well, I mean, depending on the person.
Those words.
Depending on the person who is it.
Yes, yeah. And like I say, it depends on. So one aspect, as you rightfully pointed out, who is the person? Is this person in a position of influence? Are they even able to influence it? I think, and let me just use another case, an Australian case where there was a minister or two ministers who commented on a judgment of the Australian court where this guy was charged with treason, and they perhaps didn't give them the sentence that they figured they should have given. They made comments about the judge, about the judicial unfairness, and how this will impact the entire Australia. This was a 2017 case. And what happened is the court held them in contempt for their utterances, primarily because of the position that they held. They were ministers of government. They were persons in the executive. The matter was appealed to the Court of Appeal, so it was in transition. It was sub judice. It was still under a judgment. It was still under judicial consideration. So it was at that tenuous spot where the final decision hadn't been made. But here you are, a minister in Australia, saying these things as if you're trying to do what? What are you trying to do? Who are you trying to influence? You're a part of the executive. You hold a certain position in society. So why make these comments when there are avenues to which you can have, some form of redress? You can appeal the decision. And that's what should be done, rather than just, uttering words that, could possibly, likely have a reasonable effect or real risk on what happens. Because either way, what you do is you put the next judicial body in a very precarious position. Now, it's no secret that in this small country that we have here, we're easily influenced. I shouldn't say we're easily influenced, but usually when a government is in, you would see people think a certain way. They accept certain things because you represent a person who has the authority, who has access to information that the rest of us don't have. And so we rely on what you have to say, whether we should or shouldn't. The fact is we do. You hold a certain position in society. Be just that much more careful of what you say and how you say it. Allow the process, allow the system, allow that institution to deal with it in the proper and correct way.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned talk shows. You talked about that. So this is very tricky, right? When people call in and say, I disagree with that ruling. I think the judge should have looked at this and that. And I don't think the attorneys should have whatever. Let's talk about that. That happens often. What are your views on those types of comments?
Okay. Let me give you an example. There was a case of Orton Bodie in 2012. This is obviously public knowledge. It's in newspapers everywhere, so I can speak to it. There was a decision made by Justice Stephen Isaacs, God rest his soul. He, Mr. Bodie, that is, in his talk show, made mention of the judge and said certain things. I think it was probably a millisecond later, not literally, but a millisecond later, he was served a summons to appear before Justice Isaacs on contempt of court. Wow. Why? Because as a person of influence, all right, he is sitting in the seat where you have persons who are listening to. Yes, the general audience may say certain things, but are they in a position of influence? Who is saying it? Is a talk show off the street saying it? I don't want to put it this way. If a Jones says to you, that judge ain't know what she talking about. She's so dumb. What influence does he have or she have on the outcome? Again, like I said, the test is it likely to prejudice the outcome? Is there a real risk? What influence do you have? What position do you hold? Where is this information coming from? Who is saying it? Those are some issues that the court will look at. And mind you, contempt, like I said, is a very broad area, but we're just dealing with contempt of court in the instance of matters that are sub judice, where it's not completed. So if a matter is completed, then let's say it's gone to the Court of Appeal, or the Privy Council has exhausted all of its avenues of redress, and you want to go through the judgment and criticize it. As a matter of fact, judges criticize each other in their judgments. You would have a decision, you would have the ratio, or then you would have dissenting judges. So they would criticize. So it's something that can be done, but it depends on when, how, and who. So it is, and I agree with you, of how this thing is done. So it would be subjective as well as objective tests that you would apply. Who said it? Would the reasonable person on the street accept that this person, a junta, versus a talk show host who has thousands of listeners, who has a position of influence, says it. What did he say? Is there a likelihood? Is there a real risk of them influencing what happens? Okay, so those are some of the things that you would want to look at before you utter anything about a judgment that hasn't been completed.
So with that argument, if a caller says it, would that not be seen the same way as a talk show host, or is it if the talk show host agrees with that caller? Does that make the difference?
Again, who is the caller? Is the caller the Minister of National Security? Is the caller WAP from Enos Jumper Corner? Who is this caller? What influence does this caller have? What did the caller say? The caller may be actually a witness, even though he means per se, but he may be a key witness in a matter. And he hasn't given evidence as yet, or he has given evidence. He may be, someone who is a party, and I'm moving into the realm of criminal contempt. You're saying things about this matter that's actually in train. There are persons who have been held, and like I say, it is the person, it is the circumstances. So it would have to be determined by the court as to whether or not this matter is contemptuous. Can this person be held in contempt? It would be a whole exercise of going through what was said, how it was said, who said it, and is it likely to affect the outcome of this particular decision? Because the type of contempt we're talking about is, like I said, and I want to narrow it there because, there are persons out there who listen to this show, and I've been called aside from having a show on different areas. So I know there are my colleagues who listen. Yeah, they listen. And so they will call you out. So I'm just being narrow in my approach with answering your question. We're talking about those matters that are sub judice, where it isn't completed, it is still under consideration. So if we're talking about those types of matters, so for example, then, let's move to the realm of the criminal contempt. If you have a man on trial for a matter, let's say child pornography, those types of matters, but he has, let's say he has antecedents or previous criminal records. So as a talk show host, you're talking about the fact that, okay, John Doe is up again. This must be the fourth time that he's been charged with this. When will these people jail him, man? We don't need to be hearing these type of things from him. You're the talk show host. You're a man of influence. You're trying to say, and you're bringing up the criminal record or the antecedent of a person. And so it doesn't really give him a fair chance. You have jurors or other persons who are listening to the show, and they're saying, "What? He has a criminal record. He's done this 4 times, or he guilty." You know how we go. Or he guilty. He do that. And the fact is, every one of us have a right to a fair trial, at least the case. So you must present this person as if he has never committed an offense before. His bad character reference cannot be brought up unless you have permission from the court. And so these are things that people need to be mindful of, even though they say it. But again, like I say, the test is it likely to interfere with that fair trial? And it must be a real risk. So just shooting the breeze, or if you call and say, man, I ain't gonna faith in the system anyhow. All them full of foolishness. I ain't interested in these lawyers and judges, all them together. Is it likely to affect the outcome of a particular case that is currently before? Real risk that the person says something that would impact that decision, whether it's a judge by himself or if a jury is there as well. So that then would be the test of what was said. But again, it is a matter of degree. It is subject as well as it's subjective as well as objective test that would be applied to what was said.
Yeah. Now, last week, when we were discussing this, we had lots of text messages coming in, people getting into the personal lives of the people involved, including the judge talking about the past and political affiliation. I'm sure that would definitely not be something people should get into publicly. You would think.
Again,
you think that would be clear, or is it a problem?
Well,
I mean, you're stating a fact, right? You're stating a fact.
I don't see, unless because you see, you border on something else. You border on defamation.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily subscribe to the view that if a person offers themselves for public office, that you are at liberty, whether it's the press or anyone else, to scrutinize what they do behind closed doors, their public life, unless it affects what they're doing in that public office. And let me put this out there, right? Persons have often talked about the sexual life and sexuality of persons, all right? I, for one, and this is just my view, unless your sexual choice or preference affects what you're doing in public office, I don't need to know about it. I don't even want to know about it. But if you are now going to say only heterosexual persons will be given housing in a specific community because of whatever, then it's affecting your decision. So, and it's affecting a decision that's very, in instances like that, yes. But to answer the question, whether or not people are free to say, again, I go back to Article 23. You are free to hold you have freedom of expression, which is your opinions, your inferences, and things like that. You have that freedom. Now, you take the risk of going afoul of somebody else's freedom. I have the right to my privacy, which is another freedom. Article 16 gives me this right to my privacy and of person and things like that. The point is, I'm going to sue you if you delve too deeply into my personal life. Mm-hmm. That's not your business. And if you don't have facts to back that up, then I certainly will go after you, as with anyone. So if you're sitting talking about a judge holds a public office. Now, judges, let me just throw in here, have judicial immunity. So you really can't necessarily, on the face of it, sue them because they have the judicial immunity that they could be free from all of these things. Whether persons can just sue them as they feel like, let me use that word, because of a decision they make. Otherwise, you'd find judges not making decisions free from all of these free from the fear of having somebody sue them every time they make a decision. Wow. So they have judicial immunity so that they definitely can speak freely and give a decision without fear of being sued for that decision. So what you have when it comes to contempt, right, which, like I said, is the broad category these utterances would come under. When you have an issue of contempt, you're going against the Article 23, which is freedom of expression. You're going against judicial immunity, which gives the judge the right to say certain things. So you are at several things are at play. Now, I don't know if I said it earlier, but when you think of contempt, and you could stop me anytime because obviously I'm just rolling from one thing to the next.
No, it's good. It's good.
You're looking at things that anything, whether it's said or done or written, that is designed to bring the administration of justice into disrepute. The courts are there to administer justice. So, and to me, the big picture is when you do things like that, when you bring the court into disrepute, what happens is you lower the court in the eyes of the public. Do you know what happens when certain institutions are thought of as lower or less than? We have anarchy. We have a society that no longer respects institutions like the court, which means then I don't care what the court say. You know what? The police come in my house, in rock on them because I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't scared of the court. I ain't scared of the police. And that's what you have, a society of anarchy. I'm not advocating for the police. I'm not advocating necessarily for the court. I'm just saying, when you think of these things, there is a much broader picture that is brought to bear that you must look at. Am I bringing the institution itself into disrepute? Am I lowering this court system in the eyes of people? Am I lowering this person, this judge, in the eyes of persons who come before her? You understand?
So this raises a question then, because let's say in the case of the Coffee Goodman situation, right? When the initial charges were placed, and I think he was initially sentenced, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the death penalty was handed up. And I remember on the radio, not everybody, but a lot of people chimed in their opinions, said that this was a good thing, that they agree with this. This is about time we started doing this again. I think the matter was brought before the Privy Council, of which the death penalty was removed, and I think he received 55 years at a time. And I remembered, I think I was even on your show, Dwight. I can't remember exactly, but it was a lot of anger towards the court system. Well, I guess the Privy Council is technically something we adhere to, but a lot of anger towards them. And this whole idea of the UK and, their lifestyle and how they're so Bahamians, they are very liberal, yada, yada, yada. I've heard everything under the sun be said about these persons. My question is that something that only like the general population, like some of the callers can do? Or is that something that talk show hosts can do as well? Because a lot of people said it.
Yeah, criticize sentences and say this is not right.
Well, okay. Several things there. Your name is Sergeant? Dawn. Okay. Several things there, ironically. Well, maybe not ironically, but incidentally. I was on the Kofi Goodman matter, the first case.
Wow.
So, yeah, that I have intimate knowledge of that matter. At the time that those comments and stuff were being made, you said it was at sentencing, was at the stage where the jury had already deliberated and given its guilty verdict in the matter. All right? So again, when you're looking at contempt of court in particular, you're looking at the stage at which this matter is at. All right? At that stage now, not that you have free reign to say whatever you want to say, but it is not as tenuous because then you have, you've had what you call the close of the case, you had sentencing. This is an appeal now where he's appealing to, or where he appealed at that stage to the Court of Appeal, the Privy Council, to have this death sentence removed. Okay, so at that stage, it's not that you have free reign, but certainly you can say more. It is not enhanced jury or a judge per se to do that. Now, as in terms of people commenting and criticizing the lifestyle of persons in the UK, that's such a broad category. I mean, can you say that would influence anything the judge has to say? If you're talking about such a large group of persons, you know what I mean? All cats are just annoying. All dogs make too much noise. You people who live out there have a different lifestyle from the rest of us. Is it specific enough? Is it likely to have an impact or a real risk on any decision? Because it's so broad. I mean, these are sweeping generalizations that people have and people have made in relation to the judgment. So again, the test is likely to have an impact. And is there a real risk of having the impact? If you're making sweeping generalizations, I don't know that will have the impact or real risk.
Does it matter if the case is closed? There's no plan to appeal. Does it make a difference with what you say? If you are being critical of the judgment and if you feel the judge is completely blind or like, how did you not see this as a lie? If you say things like that, does it make a difference?
It does, because then you have removed, now again, I'm going back to the fact that we're talking about sub judice matters where it is still under a judgment. If you have completed the matter, if the matter is closed, it's done, yes, you don't have that type of interference. And again, I'm going to say it doesn't mean that you have carte blanche to say whatever, because what you say, again, may likely or have a real risk of people bringing the administration of justice and the courts who administer that justice into disrepute. So even after the judgment has been completed, let's say we take this judgment as they say they're going to appeal it, to the Court of Appeal and need be to the Privy Council. If it goes there, it's completed. And you say things about the judge. Are you then bringing this court and that judge into disrepute by making scandalous remarks about her or him? Are you doing that? Again, what you don't want to do is disintegrate the public's view in that system. You want people to go through it the correct way. Not that you can't. Again, your Article 23 tells you you have the freedom of expression, but then you want to do it in a proper manner. I disagree with this judgment. Here is why I disagree with it.
Mhm.
Number one, what she has said impacts the entire community.
Mhm.
If we allow something like this to continue, it will erode the whole idea of how we want housing to be in this country. You see the difference? There is a difference in how you go about criticizing and saying these utterances about court, about the judge, about the administration of justice generally. Okay?
Okay. We got to take a quick break. We are talking with Darrell Taylor. We are talking about criticism of judges and decisions in courts. We're having a great discussion. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio. Stay with us.
When you look in your neighbor's cell, boy, they look so sad. Jail is hard. HMP is hard. If you never been to jail, boy, don't feel bad. Good.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to it. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best. Believe in best.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
I work hard, and I have a family that needs me, so I have no time for pain. That's why I take Cetamol Extra Strength. It's fast, it's effective, it's relief. Cetamol Extra Strength. Get back to the better you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Come on, y'all.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We have about a minute and a half left. We're talking about criticism of judges, magistrates, court decisions. This question here, is it okay, this is a text, is it okay for me to criticize a lawyer? Wait, now let me see if I get this right. Okay, well, this is very different. This is a different text. Oh, boy. All right, what about the lawyers who are representing people who are charged with heinous crimes, murder, kidnapping, rape? What about that? Can you criticize a lawyer? What does the same rules apply here? What do you say to that?
Well, like I said, you can criticize the judges, you can criticize the lawyers. Now, lawyers do not have judicial immunity as a judge does. So, I mean, yes, you can. The short answer is yes, you can. Again, it's the way you do it, because if you border on defamation, you obviously will encounter someone who will sue you for it. But people comment on lawyers all the time. I'm smiling because I remember as a prosecutor, there was one case I did for 6 weeks. This mother whose son was accused of murder, I mean, religiously. I didn't know there were so many different words for ugly and thing until I met with her every day religiously. Wow. Sometimes morning session, afternoon session, she had a different word for me. And I mean, that was just her expressing her anger. And I could have done any number of things, but again, as a mother, I guess, you understand sometimes the frustration and the hurt that is very prevalent with mothers. We knock them all the time, my good son, but that's what the son showed her. In any event, people criticize lawyers on a daily basis. Yeah. That's not an uncommon thing. Most of us just simply don't I mean, unless it borders on defamation, we don't enjoy the immunity that the judiciary has. So, yeah, I mean, you can. That's you're right.
Now, I read that upon my second reading of the text, I realized they were asking a different question. They're asking, is it okay for me to not vote for a candidate who is a lawyer who defends someone who has defended murderers and rapists? So, all right.
Oh, yeah,
so that's a
different.
very different issue. You have to deal with that in your own conscience on
Yes.
that one. But the way how things go in this country, you may not be voting. But okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. Just want to get your opinion really quickly. We got 30 seconds. So, as a lawyer, what do you think of if we were to have a system in the country where vaccinated people have a different curfew from not vaccinated people? Is that legal? Is that something that could be challenged? What do you make of that?
The answer to that is yes. Most things can be challenged, again, with a court. Everything is about evidence. What can you prove? Can you know what I mean? Can you back up what you're saying? Then let me put it that way. What is your evidence that you're bringing to challenge whatever decision it is? I don't know that we have a mandatory vaccination system here in this country as yet. There are certain things, I guess, that are being offered for persons who are vaccinated versus those who are not. So it would appear on the face of it that you do have this mandatory by just allowing certain privileges to those who are vaccinated. So someone can challenge it on the basis that it's very discriminatory, right? And again, you go back to your articles in the Constitution. You can bring an action. You can challenge it. That is what you have the court system for. That is what democracy is all about. Yeah. You have an opportunity to say that. So you can, may the best evidence win. Yeah. May the best advocate win. So the point is you challenge it. And it's fair game. Take it to the courts. Allow the courts to determine, okay, is this fair? Is this discriminatory? What is it? Even though you're saying it's not mandatory, but it's the conditions in which you're asking us to live, on the face of it appears that it is mandatory. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
You can bring the action.
Very interesting points. Darrell Taylor, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. No criticism
You're
from
welcome.
us on your part, as always. Thank you.
Right.
We'll talk again soon. Thank you very much, Don Sargent. Thank you as well. Stay tuned, folks. We've got Morning Blend Business, and we're going to be talking about the pennies, the final few days for you to redeem your pennies. We'll tell you all about that, what you need to do. That's coming up in just a few minutes after the news break. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Firefighters have been working over 12 hours now to extinguish a blaze at the Manpower Scrap Metal Yard. Fed by derelict cars and residual fuel, the blaze lit up the sky off Tonic Williams-Darling Highway last night as firefighters tried to prevent it from spreading to other structures on the property or the nearby landfill. Director of Fire Services Assistant Superintendent Kendrick Morris says they have now contained the blaze and that no one was hurt, but that they have yet to determine how the fire started, as they are mainly focused right now on putting that blaze out. In other news, Chief Justice Brian Murray is warning that judicial decisions could shake public trust in the judicial process. In an interview with the Nassau Guardian, he acknowledged that everyone is entitled to free speech, but he advised critics who disagree with judgments to do so responsibly in a manner which is tempered and respectful, as he argued the administration of justice relies very heavily on the public's trust in the judiciary. His remarks come after Public Works Minister Desmond Bannister drew swift rebuke from some local lawyers for calling a judge's decision on shantytown demolition silly-sounding and wrong. And government intends to spend some $2.7 million to provide potable water to 1,000 residents in over-the-hill areas and to reconnect 1,650 residents who are currently disconnected from the city supply. Executive Chairman at the Water and Sewage Corporation, Adrian Gibson, told Parliament they have substantially completed the process of connecting residents in the area of Kwaku Street to the city's water supply, and that the next phase will commence shortly and will include Bola Avenue, Philness Close, and Sea Spray Lane. That's what's making headlines at this hour. Stay with us. AP Update is next.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy on his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send pictures direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas. Then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons?
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas so you can call and nobody knows you and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you will also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. Millions of Americans are sweating in the heat that's blanketing the West. The National Weather Service is warning of temperatures so high it'll be dangerous in places. It's going to be 115 in Las Vegas today. The Weather Service's Mark Chenard.
We're looking at record temperatures over a large portion of the country, from California even into the plains, and these well above normal temperatures continue straight into the weekend.
He says it's important to stay safe.
The heat at this level can lead to heat-related illness, whether it's heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and so really just asking people to mainly stay indoors if you can, especially air-conditioned areas. And if you are heading outside, drink water.
President Biden's in Brussels, where the U.S. and the European Union reached a deal this morning to end a dispute over subsidies to rival plane makers Boeing and Airbus. I'm Rita Foley.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Loss Adjusters.
Final look at traffic this morning, and the Southwest Gateway is still having a rough time at it this hour. Still too much traffic stuck behind those lines. Heavy traffic, really challenged to leave Gladstone Road. Still lots of traffic stuck behind Tony'sville and Darling over there on Tamalabala Highway. And even Carmichael Road, with the lengthy traffic line getting out there on the Blue Hill Road. Independence Drive, heavily congested on both ends. So we can see traffic is heavy on the west end, getting into that Blue Hill Road roundabout, and then on the east end, getting into the East Street roundabout. And of course, it slows the traffic in those corridors down. Overall, the turnout elsewhere across the island looks a bit lighter so far than usual in the morning time. We are not seeing the same level of congestions and delays at other junctions at the time. West Bay Street ride into the city has slowed down. But if you're a regular out there, well, you know at this time of the morning, what's going on now is less and moving a bit faster. Heavy delays finally built up on the far end of the Eastern Road, and their traffic line is slowly getting out. But there again, we have seen more traffic over there before. And now Soldier Road into Wolf Road, the traffic over there, and then there's Marathon Road delays that's now building up. But all of this is happening a bit later than usual. So it's going to be a late run for traffic today. It's getting out there, but in a slow mode. This NASA Traffic Report is being brought to you this hour by Dr. Danny Johnson and Associates at Foot and Ankle International, who's offering the simplest and safest treatment for painful flat feet, bunions, hammer toes, sports medicine, and more. Visit Foot and Ankle International for relief. They're located Dean's Lane atop the hill at Fort Charlotte. Call them at 322-5402. That's 322-5402 for more info. With you right at Sky Look at Traffic in real time, I'm PANN.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news into conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Today we are talking about the penny as the penny redemption period is winding down. Just a few weeks to go before you can no longer redeem your pennies. And here to tell us about this, we're very pleased to welcome back to the show from the Central Bank of the Bahamas, the manager of the currency department, Jermaine Campbell. Jermaine Campbell, great to have you with us this morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. Nice to have you.
All right, so we'll get into what's supposed to be happening over the next few weeks, but just to give us an overview of what's been happening here, and for those who, I don't know where they've been, who might not be aware of what's been happening to the penny here in the Bahamas. But let's talk about what's been happening and why that decision was made, refresh our memories, to drop the 1 cent piece here.
Yeah, so pretty much in a nutshell, it's just really been cost prohibitive to continue to produce the 1 cent coin that we've seen over the years has lost its purchasing power. And like I say, we've been, for the most part, a few decades now, generating negative seigniorage on this denomination, meaning ensure that it's costing us more to produce the 1 cent than the actual face value of this coin.
Yeah.
And so for a few years we looked at it, and the decision was finally made to demonetize this denomination.
How has this process been? There were some concerns about people trying to do it right, but so far it seems like it's, at least from our point of view, it seems like it's been going smoothly. Is that what you're getting from the central bank, at the central bank there?
Yeah, pretty much. There has been some concerns regarding vendors who may have not been rounding or rounding incorrectly, and we've tried to address those where we could. The public has been advising us of those cases, but for the most part, vendors have been doing what it is they're supposed to do, and the public again is progressing in this. I mean, it's something fairly new for us as a country, but certainly it's nothing new from a global perspective, as many other countries have also demonetized their lower denomination coins.
Right. I do want to ask you about that, because we know that the rounding happens if you're paying with cash, but not with a credit card or a debit card, even when you're paying with a card?
Yes. Mm-hmm. There were a few vendors who were also doing that. And I guess it was simpler for them to just round everything. It didn't mean it required less configuration of their systems. And so there were some occurrences of that I believe we addressed with those vendors. I'm not certain if there are any others out there, but we certainly addressed those when they were brought to our attention.
Yeah. Are there penalties, or is this just considered a growing pain phase and you just advise them?
I believe there's soon to be penalties, but for the most part, I mean, the vendors, they're adhering to these changes, because the idea is really not to disadvantage the public or to have vendors themselves disadvantaged, and to be cooperative in that regard.
So what's going to happen to all these pennies? What are you going to do with them?
Well, we've collected, and we're still in the collection process. We'll conclude that at the end of the month. And once we've done that, we now need to separate the coins, because we've allowed the public to deposit Bahamian and U.S. coins. So we'll have to go through a process to sort out the U.S. coins, and then we'll look to have the coins destroyed at some point.
All right. Can you say how much so far? How many coins? How much in terms of monetary value has been turned in?
Well, yeah. So to date, we would have redeemed about 47.1 million, which really works out in value to around 470,000 been redeemed. We still have some volumes of coins coming in from the Family Islands, where the island administrators would have helped us in that collection process. And as I indicated, the commercial banks are still redeeming, so they're coins that we expect to take in from them. And then as we conclude the process on the 30th of June, we would expect to collect some additional volumes during that period.
All right, so what happens after the 30th of June?
So after the 30th, that's the cutoff. That's the final day for the public to redeem 1-cent coins. And so those coins that are not redeemed with the central bank to that point, the customers will be unable to secure redemption and the face value.
Just keep them at home as a museum piece or something, I guess.
Right, pretty much.
All right. So let's talk about this. You've been redeeming them, and the value is calculated by weight. Now, am I mistaken? Was it part of the plan to, at some point, redeem based on the monetary value?
Yeah. So initially when we started, we had a 3-phase program. The first would have been collection and redemption by weight on the island of New Providence only. And then we would have expanded that to the collection and redemption of all coin denominations by the value. And we intended to partner with a local company that would have assisted us in that regard. And so customers would have been able to receive pretty much immediate payment, and that we would have ventured out to the Family Islands to ensure that we made the program available to residents and businesses on the Family Island. So phase 2, we had some challenges with that. And so just in a consistent commitment to the public, we continued with phase 1 and then moved to the Family Island. And so we would have done that in between, rotating NASA on the various Family Islands. And then we also, because we were really unable to visit all of the islands, we engaged the island administrators, who were extremely helpful in facilitating the collection of these coins for us as well. And so we pretty much stuck with phase 1, redemption by weight, and we've been able to process just about 47 million in coins through that initiative, as well as regular deposits from the commercial banks.
Right. Are you able to say what sort of difference there might have been if it had been through monetary value versus weight? Are you able to say that? Would it have been much of a difference?
Well, our calculation roughly was about 95 to 97% accurate by weight. There is really no exact determination until the coins are actually counted, because some of the things to consider is we have treated the coins as just 1-cent coins, and I'm certain there may have been other coin denominations mixed in those from customers. And then in addition, there may have also been foreign coins, Canadian, Barbados coins, which we can't redeem at all. And so we accepted all of those at face value. So pretty much it would have been an up and down, and you really don't know until the coins would have been counted and sorted at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right, so there's not much time left. Let's talk about it. What's going to be happening over the next few weeks? We've got an exercise this week as well. Tell us about that.
So So we're concluding the redemption exercise here in New Providence at the Central Bank grounds every Monday through Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so there are a lot of coins still to be collected. As late as yesterday, we would have seen almost 100 members of the public visit us to deposit those coins, and we'll continue today and tomorrow. And the following week, again, Monday through Wednesday, until the 30th.
All right, so people just show up, just come to the central bank grounds. Is that how it works? No appointments or anything?
Right. No, there's no appointment. Once they visit the bank, the security officers will direct them to the location where we're facilitating the redemption. The COVID protocols and social distancing are maintained. The public have the opportunity to sit in their vehicles and wait until their time to come and redeem. The process is again simple. They fill out the forms with their banking information. The coins are weighed in their presence, and they're provided with a receipt. Following which we will credit account within 3 to 5 days for the estimated value of those coins redeemed.
Okay, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to learn more about that. How, yes, you said credit your bank account, how that money works. And a couple more questions for you, Jermaine Campbell with the Central Bank. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. We'll be back. Stay with us.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO. Growing wealth for future generations.
Beulah gal, can all the patrol queens of the neighborhood?
We now large and in charge, so we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time. The Water and Sewage Corporation advises residents of Tropical Gardens and Alexandria Boulevard be planning new construction or have commenced new construction and have not yet done and are planning to do so to urgently apply for city supply due to upcoming road paving works, as once the works have been completed, the corporation will not be able to accept any new applications due to the roads having already been paved. For further information, please call 302-5599.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. As the Central Bank of the Bahamas, Ministry of Finance and clearing banks push to achieve a 50% reduction in the use of cash and an 80% reduction in the use of checks by 2025. A new survey revealing that more businesses have embraced digital payments in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Business Digital Payment Survey, commissioned by the Central Bank in the last quarter of last year, found that both the acceptance and the use of electronic payments increased in the country in 2020. In fact, fewer than 30% of Bahamian businesses still conduct important transactions using cash, with more opting to use checks for payment. The survey found that credit card usage for local payments, utilities, and other suppliers was slightly above the rate at which payments were made for similar transactions with checks, but still less than 1/4 of it offered notably higher convenience for international payments and travel, according to that survey. You can read more about it in today's Guardian Business section. Royal Caribbean International calling Nassau Cruise Port's handling of the country's first home porting initiative on Saturday great success. According to a statement by Nassau Cruise Port, which explained that the makeshift arrivals and departures area was safe, fast, and efficient, given that COVID-19 protocols had to continue to be observed. Nassau Cruise Port President and Chief Executive Officer Mike Mora agreeing that the process was executed expertly by all the teams involved. Commonwealth Brewery plans to decrease expenses by downsizing its staff, or it has done that, and that's helped the company to see a $4 million decrease in operating expenses in the first quarter of 2021. That's according to the company's first quarter financial statements. Statements, though, revealing that the company experienced a 15% decline in revenue as well compared to the same period last year. CBL stating that it owes the expected revenue decline to the continuing COVID-19 pandemic, but indicating that revenue has been on the increase month over month. And to reduce risks to sovereign and corporate ratings, leading economist Marla Dukaran saying the government must quickly return to its fiscal responsibility agenda, which was suspended following Hurricane Dorian. Months after Hurricane Dorian caused in excess of $3 billion in damage, the government was forced to invoke the Exceptional Circumstances Clause of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Soon after, the COVID-19 pandemic caused further strains on the government's fiscal affairs. Speaking to the need for the government to pursue risk-reducing policies for the public and private sectors, Dukaran says lawmakers' fiscal strategies have a far-reaching impact on the private sector. Overseas, the United States and the European Union reaching a deal today to end a damaging dispute over subsidies to rival plane makers Boeing and Airbus and phase out billions of dollars in punitive tariffs. U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai, who says the two sides have come to terms on a 5-year agreement to suspend the tariffs at the center of the dispute. She says they could be re-implemented if U.S. companies are not able to compete fairly with those in Europe. The trade dispute skyrocketed under the Trump administration and saw tit-for-tat duties slapped on a range of companies that have nothing to do with aircraft production, from French winemakers to German cookie bakers in Europe and U.S. spirits in the United States. The U.S. imposed what could have amounted to $7.5 billion in tariffs on European exports in 2019 after the World Trade Organization ruled that the EU had not complied. Airbus, which is based in France. The EU retaliated last November with up to $4 billion in punitive duties after the WTO ruled that the U.S. had provided illegal subsidies to Seattle-based Boeing. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX. From Monday, your market movers, AML Foods Limited, moving 1,000 shares up 28 cents to $6. Consolidated Water up 1 cent to $2.53. Emira Incorporated up 5 cents to $11.57. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 1,972.78, up 1.28. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
got to know where I stand. I've just got to know where I am with you.
So here's a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me. Penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me.
Walking, holding hands.
We are back here with Morning Glen Business on Guardian Radio 96 Strong. Speaking Campbell, the manager of the Currency Department of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. Before the break, you mentioned that you'll get your money deposited on your account. Is that how it works? How do you get your money? When and how long does it take? And is that the only way to do it? What if you don't have a bank account?
So the process is that once the coins are weighed, the redemption team will provide the customer with the estimated value of that deposit, and the customer in turn provides us with their banking information, and within 3 to 5 days, we will wire the value of those funds to that customer's account. In the Family Island, the process took slightly longer, simply because we had to await the arrival of the coins to Nassau. That's pretty much how the process works. Now, in addition, for those customers who may not have bank accounts, and even for some of those who did on the Family Islands, we also settled payments via sand dollars, our digital currency that we would have launched several months ago. And that digital currency, or sand dollars, is the real purpose of that was to create the financial inclusion to ensure that all the residents within the Commonwealth of Bahamas have access to a payment platform where they can receive and transact in cash, especially in instances in which the brick and mortar financial institutions are not available. So in short, there are just two methods. The customers can receive payments via sand dollar digital currency, or via direct credit to their bank accounts, and that's just coins once we would have weighed them.
Okay, all right, wonderful stuff. So I have some questions. What's been the biggest payout so far? The most that someone had in terms of pennies, in terms of weight? What are we looking at, and what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we have had payouts of anything from $2 to almost $200.
Okay.
So there would have been companies and charities that would have collected coins, and so they would have certainly come in with buckets and buckets of coins. And like I say, the range is pretty much unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most in any single transaction, maybe around the $150, $170 range. But again, that group, still would have had, maybe 4 or 5 sets of those, amounting to a couple of $100 in redemption.
Wow. And you say again, so far about $470,000 you've had. Do you have any estimates on how many pennies remain out there? Can you tell? Do you know?
Well, we estimated early on that in circulation there would have been just over 700 million. There about maybe had 720 million, and we were hopeful, based on our study, that we would have been able to collect during this redemption period about 215 million. And so at 47 million, you see we're fairly short of that number. But again, that was just an estimate. We still imagine that there are still tons of coins out there. Some may have gone off with tourists back to their home countries. Some again lost and displaced, and then others still being kept as souvenirs. And then you have the members of the public who may opt just not to bother with the program itself.
Wow. All right, so I suspect I have about at least a million pennies. So again, remind us what we should be doing this week and over the next 2 weeks.
Right. So every Monday through Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we will be here at the Central Bank grounds facilitating redemption of the 1 cent coins for members of the public. The program ends on June, at which time the central bank will no longer accept or redeem coins through this initiative. So the public has until the 30th of June to redeem those coins. The commercial banks are also still available, and so the public may also deposit coins through the commercial bank, again, bearing in mind the timeline for the redemption to end.
Okay, so you can do it through the commercial banks, and they're weighing as well?
No, so with the commercial banks, customers will certainly have to roll the coins so that the tellers and those representatives can easily provide a value for the coins. At the redemption site here at the central bank that we're facilitating, we prefer that the coins are not rolled. It makes it easier to go through the weighing process.
And no appointment needed. Just show up between 10 and 4 over the next few days.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. This is exciting stuff. Again, we have only until the end of the month. Jermaine Campbell with the Currency Department of the Central Bank of the Bahamas, thank you very much for this information. We appreciate it. Appreciate you talking with us this morning.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. We're going to take a break and be back with our final few minutes of Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We can talk more about this and about what else we've been talking about this morning on the show. Stay with us. We're back after these messages.
I've got to know where I stand. I've just got to know where I am with you.
So here's a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me. Penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
The Water and Sewage Corporation advises residents of Tropical Gardens and Alexandria Boulevard East, Nassau Village, who may be planning new construction or have commenced new construction and have not yet done and are planning to do so, to urgently apply for city supply due to upcoming road paving works, as once the works have been completed, the corporation will not be able to accept any new applications due to the roads having already been paved. For further information, please call 302-5599.
And we've got your final look at weather for this morning. We've got a moist and unstable air mass that will support unsettled weather over portions of the northwest Bahamas today and seeing over the past few days, while high pressure will dominate weather elsewhere. Special warnings for boaters and residents to be alert for possible water spouts or tornado activity. And residents in low-lying or flood-prone areas should be on alert as well, as there could be localized flooding during heavy and prolonged rainfall events. For today, for the Northwest Bahamas, expect mostly cloudy to overcast, very warm and humid conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Some showers may be heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Small craft operators should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, partly to mostly cloudy and hot with a chance of a few isolated showers and possible thunderstorms mainly across the central Bahamas. Temperature-wise right now, 84 in Nassau, 82 in Freeport. Look for highs getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the current wet pattern across the northwest Bahamas will persist through Thursday. After that, though, we're expecting a drying trend to begin and extend into the weekend across the entire country. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, still in the rainy pattern, though, partly to mostly cloudy and warm with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northwest and central Bahamas, partly cloudy and hot in the southeastern islands. Thursday, mostly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms across the extreme northwestern islands, partly cloudy and hot with a chance of isolated showers elsewhere. In the tropics, we're watching a couple areas. We've got Tropical Storm Bill, no threat to anybody, heading out into the Atlantic off the eastern seaboard of the U.S. Elsewhere, we've got an organized area, an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the Bay of Campeche, associated with the low-pressure area, broad low-pressure area monitored for possible development. It's got a high chance of developing into a tropical cyclone over the next 5 days, a 70% chance. There's a strong tropical wave several hundred miles south of the Cabo Verde Islands. That's also being monitored. This system has a low chance, about 20% chance for tropical cyclone formation during the next 5 days. None of these systems posing any threat to the Bahamas at this time. That's your Morning Blend weather check.
I've got to know where I stand. I've just got to know where I am with you.
So here's a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime, a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me.
Walking, holding hands, you say you're mine, all mine, then soon another face.
And we are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan. I want to thank Jermaine Campbell with the Central Bank for speaking with us this morning. I appreciate that. Some of your questions, I think we got those answers in the final few minutes there. So the texter's asking about the coins having to be wrapped. So if you're going through the Central Bank's redemption program, you don't need the coins to be wrapped. But as you heard Jermaine Campbell say, that if you're going to your bank, your commercial bank, of course, they're going to want you to wrap those yourself. So you can just go to the central bank and just give it to them as is. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. this week, the 14th through the 16th. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. next week, the 21st through the 23rd. And 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. the 28th through the 30th. And then that's it. That's it. Another texter asking about Sandol. Yeah, you heard that. That's how they do it. If you don't have a bank account, it can be credited to your Sand Dollar account. Yeah. And then this text here. Good morning. 5 cents has lost its purchasing power too. One candy costs 10 cents or more. Yep, I haven't seen a candy costing 10 cents or 5 cents since, I don't know, when was that? It's been a long time. All right. So you can continue to text us, 422-4796. Tweet us at morningblend969 or facebook.com/morningblend969. And you can call in. We've got a challenge with our phone lines, as we said, but 325-4259 seems to be working for people today. 325-4259. All right, another issue I want to bring, the cruise port issue. The story in today's Guardian Business section. The Nassau Cruise Port saying that Royal Caribbean has been pleased with how that worked out for them, even though it's a temporary setup. pleased with how that went, the flow on Saturday for the inaugural sailing of the Adventure of the Seas. That will continue for the next few months. And then in a few weeks, we've got another cruise line, Crystal Cruise Line, which is going to be doing their all Bahamas cruises beginning in just a few weeks. So that is very exciting. Now, we've been doing many shows on this, on cruise porting opportunities, and I have to tell you, we've been surprised by the reaction from some people, and not been entirely pleased with some of the reaction. That some people didn't see how this could be beneficial to some people who might not directly be involved in the tourism sector, but that this could open up the doors to many people. I think we've been very slow to get on board with that way of thinking, and it's been disturbing to me. We've done shows, and people were like, I didn't think about that. And I really am very surprised. And then this came across, I got this message yesterday. And, boy. So the first sailing of Crystal Cruises, I think it's July 3rd. Yeah. That's just a couple weeks away. So this went out to Cat Islanders. That's Cat Islands on the itinerary for the Crystal cruise ship. This went out to Cat Islanders. The Ministry of Tourism, in conjunction with Crystal Cruises, plans to hold a meeting for the general public on June 15th, 2021. This went out. I got this yesterday. At the Eris Monker Media Center, all are invited to attend to be appraised of the prospective plans of Crystal Cruises for making Cat Island a part of its sailing destination. Please note that social distancing will be enforced. Right, and that came out from the district administrator. So that's today. That meeting is taking place today. And we know this has been happening across other islands as well. Eleuthera and Harbor Island, they already expressed that they weren't interested in the cruise ship stopping there. And then Spanish Wells, and they also said that they didn't want it. So I don't know what's going to happen with Eleuthera, but now this is happening for Cat Island. And I'm just a little concerned here. This is very late. This is kind of late to be having this discussion, right? Why are we waiting so late? What's up with that? I don't understand. And as you know, Cat Island has just come off a lockdown for a couple of weeks, and 6 p.m. is the meeting. And they have a curfew at 8 p.m. So there's not going to be much time to discuss this. I don't understand. I don't understand. What's going on? Can make me understand what's happening. Why are we being so casual here? These are great opportunities. Have you been on Crystal Cruises' website? It looks fantastic. It has me thinking that I need to take one of these cruises. A couple islands are on the itinerary that I've not traveled to, and it looks really great. But what is going on? Why aren't we realizing that this could be fantastic? I was looking at the other cruise lines, Royal Caribbean, and they are going to Grand Bahama, and then they're going to their island, and then they're coming back. But they're going to Cozumel as well, and the Cozumel just seemed out of place. But we do need to have more destinations here so that we could do this all Bahamian cruise. I know many people talked about it, and they had hoped that Bahamians did this. But okay, maybe one day we can. Maybe one day we can. But in the meantime, we've got so many opportunities to have so many unbelievable, unforgettable experiences because we've got all these different islands that can offer you a different experience. What are we doing? What are we waiting for? I don't understand it. We've had some time, and we have time. We have 6 months at least to get it together and come up with something unique for each island. Like, you should consider coming to this one as well. Include this in your itinerary because they'll be doing this there, they'll be doing that there, and open it up to the residents to really show their creativity and offer the best of what's in season in terms of food, cultural experiences. You know the dates that they're going to be in town. Why aren't we doing this? I really do need to know. Please, somebody help me out. 325-4259. And you can tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 42247. 96. I do need to understand why we have been just leaving it up to chance, leaving it up to whatever is there already. I don't hear anything. I haven't heard of downtown Nassau really any little. I know it needs more than just a paint job, but at least that. I've been meaning to go down there and see what's up. Were we really ready for this? We're really serious about this. Are we serious about tourism at all? Because I think this is an opportunity of a lifetime. And it just seems like we're going to be involved and benefit from it. I'm very confused. What is that all about? Tell us about it. Let's take another quick break, and then we're going to be back to wrap things up on this Tuesday morning. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. What is it that we really want here? What do we expect from tourism? Is it just the comfy, cushy job, or are we really prepared to stand out from everybody else in the region that's doing the same thing? Think about that. We'll be right back.
So here's a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me, penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
The Water and Sewage Corporation advises residents of Tropical Gardens and Alexandria Boulevard East, Nassau Village, who may be planning new construction or have commenced new construction and have not yet done and are planning to do so, to urgently apply for city supply due to upcoming road paving works, as once the works have been completed, the corporation will not be able to accept any new applications due to the roads having already been paved. For further information, please call 302-5599.
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I've got to know where I stand. I've just got to know where I am with you.
So here's a penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me, penny for your thoughts, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me.
Walking, holding hands. You say you're mine, all mine. Then soon another face steals your eyes away.
And we're back here with Morning Blend Business, our final couple of minutes. In response to my question about were we really taking this opportunity seriously, or maybe people got caught off guard. I may think we've had some time. But hey, this person says the issue simply is we are forward thinking. Huh? I have a breakfast stall. Someone decided to open another stall 50 yards from mine. We have to see someone doing something first. Okay. So once somebody does something that will attract all the cruise visitors who are coming through, then we'll have. So maybe by December, we'll have a bunch of people who are finally trying to take advantage of this. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. Just another reminder before we go about the Penny Redemption program coming to a close. This is your time. This is how it's going to be. They're doing it by weight, calculating by weight, and you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. 8 days left to do this at the Central Bank grounds, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. So it's this week, next week, and the week after, and that's it. So take advantage of that, folks. I have to get my pennies. I've been waiting, I don't know what I was waiting for, but I'm going to do it now. So everybody get those pennies out there and get yourself some money from that as well. All right, so that is it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend business right after Morning Blend right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock coming up next with Aaron Green.
Wake up, it's a new day.